everyone. Another wonderful week of sports. Dante Suave with with my co-host, Mystah Jay.
I'm dressed for the weather. It's only in Cincinnati. It can be 60s 4 days ago. Be snow on the ground within 4 days, and then back in the 60s within another 4 days.
I know, right?
Yeah, pneumonia
Um,
weather.
yeah, I was at work yesterday. I picked up a pissed off person because they kept shutting flights down all day, and then
Mhm.
near the end of the day, they just finally just canceled a bunch of them. So it's a lot of people mad. Real quick, we're gonna start with some NBA. How how you think the NBA been going?
Been some shocks. There have been some shocks. I
Like
didn't.
who?
Chicago. Chicago been playing very, very well starting out.
I,
Uh,
I kind of seen it coming because I watched some of the preseason games.
but even with it coming, they always do okay during the preseason, and then all of a sudden, once they get in the regular season, it's like they don't know what their identity is.
And I get that, but we also got to remember that this whole the way last season ended sent a shockwave through the NBA to
Yeah.
where now the way it seems like they done positioned themselves, the teams have power back to
Yes.
where now they got a little bit of leverage off the simple fact, at least in my opinion, because of the fact that now you got to use the whole roster. So I believe that this is going to open up the door to a lot of upset players because as much as they're going to want to keep you, they also got to pay attention to what's on the bench.
Mm-hmm. And
So
you
so
got to go deep into your bench now in order to. I think the other part about this is that you're seeing the other side of load management. Instead of doing load management to where you're sitting your star player for a full game, which once they implemented to where you had to play over 65 games in order to even be up for any type of awards that would start incentivizing some of those bonuses on some of those contracts that was signed on there for it. Once they started doing that, it made it to where, okay, I can't sit them all the time for it, but if I play them less and I rely on my bench more, which should be common sense, for it, instead of just having a rotation of 7 or 8 players and then having 4 people just sitting up there eating popcorn on the sidelines and being a cheerleader all the time for it. Now you
and
got
not
teams,
being ready if somebody get
so
hurt.
it's hurt and stuff like that. Now you got teams going 8, 9, going 10 deep in a squad right now on a 14-man roster. You should be going 10, 11 deep until you get to the playoffs. Then you start kind of shrinking it down. So it's making it to where a lot of these teams now are starting to show how deep they actually are with it. Detroit being another one. Detroit been balling.
Yeah, but we kind of saw last year. We kind of saw them, so I'm glad that they were able to continue it.
They turned
And
once you saw them turn the corner last season, and now it seems like they're still building towards it. Because I thought when I checked it last, they were the number 2 or number 3 seed in the East right now, if I remember correctly. I'm I'm snacking. Just don't mind me.
but looking at everything, let's see what we got. Oh, they are actually number one right now.
Detroit is? Yep.
Yep, they
Detroit
that.
1, Cleveland 2, Knicks 3, Chicago 4, Heat 5, Bucks 6.
Oh, and speaking of the Bucks, is it just me or is Giannis trying to send a message to all the pundits every time he plays a game?
Mm-hmm. I think he's gotten tired of the talk. And again, I'm applauding it. If the only way realistically that you can change any type of narratives that you have about you is by putting in the work.
Yeah, and but I only got one problem with it.
What?
And this also applies to the Lakers. This also applies to my Spurs. This also applies to Houston. This applies to anybody that everybody has been saying was supposed to be the next man up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's an 82 game season.
Can you keep it up for that whole pace?
Yeah, it you can show me what you can show me whatever right now because it looked real good. He taking people to the hole, he dunking on them, telling people it's this my house, and and it's looking great. But this is the beginning of the season. You still got approximately where they at? They played 10 games so far, so you got 72 more games.
And see, I don't. The only reason why I trust Giannis more than I trust even Luca as a Lakers fan or Wemby with it, I don't trust Wemby because Wemby hasn't proven it yet. Wemby hasn't shown that he can go through an entire season with his build of going through a 82 game season of getting pushed on everything else with. He looked like he could do it, and then all of a sudden he developed that blood clot in his shoulder, and he was done for the season last year. So we only saw it for a half a year. With
Well,
Luca,
unfortunately, me having experience with taking those drugs, they really don't recommend you do anything. They told me not to go into work because if I caught the slightest bit of a cut, I could bleed out. So
right?
I get what you saying, but I also get like that's
Oh
not
no,
no
yeah,
you
I'm not. I'm not. Trust me. I know people that can't are have been on all types of blood thinners to where they can't even eat green vegetables because of it. So I understand. I know the ins and outs of it when it comes to that. I'm saying for as long as if that wouldn't have developed, that would have been his best chance last year to show that to put him in that instance to where I say, okay, just because of his slight build,
and
that was my question when he came into the league
and
with going against bigger people. Could he be able to deal with that over an 82 game season?
And as much as I love Pop, I got to say this. I think Pop needing to retire was the best thing for him. And whatever he did while he was overseas, that was like the best thing for him
Yeah.
because he's come out. You remember that was my whole beef with him. From the moment he got drafted, I seen him playing. I'm like, dude, why is you always up top? Can I see you down low? Can I see you taking people to the hole? Can't nobody stop you. What are we doing? I can get experimenting and letting him feel things out, but you still got to have a basic game plan. And I'm sorry, the basic game plan is not seeing him behind the three point line all the time.
Right.
That shouldn't have never been a part of anything. That
I won't say that. I won't say that. It should not be the main part of it. Because what happens is that if he can pull, you got to think about it from the outside in perspective for it. If he's blocking shots and he's rebounding on the inside and he can score on the inside, but if he's going against somebody that's bigger and stronger, that's in there, that's also direct, that's messing up shots for his players going in there when he can't be in there with it, him being able to shoot that three pulls that center out, and then also wears that center
no,
out.
I get that, but you know me, I'm talking about it in his case because that's all I saw. That's all he was doing. It was like
Because that's all they
I
wanted him to do in France.
I hardly well they were letting him as it was being told to everybody, they were letting him figure it out. And I'm like, okay. When you say letting him figure it out, are you just basically just telling him just go out there and just do his thing?
Right. That's all they
Or
telling him.
and I'm like, yeah, but and I who how dare I try to tell somebody how to do their job? But for the level of weapon that he was, even in experimentation, bro, come on.
Oh
You,
yeah,
you let
I'm
this
never.
go on for is you let this go on when you see it's not working, equating the wins. I'm all about experimenting. Okay, let them experiment. But dude, I gotta win games. If I'm not winning games, then we got to put some structure to this. Let's
And I
all
think
right. We got an 82 game season. our fans would like to see us not only during the regular season but also in the playoffs. I get letting him free flow it and letting him figure it out. But can he figure it out while we're going in a destination within the 82 games of the first year that he's there, instead of watching 1 year go by and he's experimenting, 2 years go by and he's experimenting? What year is he on now?
He's
Is
on
he on?
this is year 3.
Yeah. And
This is
now we
year
on
3.
year 3. And as far as I'm concerned, with all, especially with all the hype, I'm seeing what I should have saw year 1.
You
Even in
weren't
the
gonna see that year 1.
experimentation.
You weren't gonna realistically, you weren't gonna see that year 1. You weren't. Just because with his height, and then you're putting him into a system that has already been established and trying to adjust to that just with his gameplay. This wasn't Tim Duncan or David Robinson that you knew was inside the paint person at all times. This is somebody
And
that can literally bring the ball up and run as your point if he needs to on certain ones of it. But and I know you frowning, but this is from watching him with the international ball as well. That's what he was doing. That's what got him that #1 pick, because he never played any time over here before he got here. So
I know, but I
but
mean, I mean, you can like, I I hear that, but you basically let him come over and you basically said you just play your ball.
and we play around you.
And yeah, but it's like, but he's in the NBA.
I
I
get that. I get that
I,
totally.
I get spoon feeding it. I get seeing what he can do and then going, okay, now, hey, can you let's see if we can. You start in practice and then you start seeing what you can work in that's NBA wise. Uh, like I said, I don't mind. I don't mind that he has that skill set, but when all I'm seeing is him shooting outside, like, dude, you're 7'6".
And,
No,
but the,
what, like even on defense, he wasn't even down low. Like, come on,
I,
that's
I'll give
there's experimentation, there's letting them do what they want to do, and then there's just not having a game plan. It just I feel like it's a, hey, he's putting butts in the seats. Yeah, you just go out there
no,
and do your
no,
thing.
no, no.
And
I'll give you an example of how this will relate to something that you know about. It's like having a drummer in a rock band
okay,
that does not know how to read no sheet music, but they are a savant with the drums. They can listen to a beat, they can watch, they can follow the cadence, and they can do the patterns and the rhythms of the beats of it and match up with any song that you're doing acapella off of hearing it a couple of chords off of it. And once they get up there, if you got a band, if you got a lead singer or lead of a band, and they know what what that person can do, they're gonna sit up there and say, just follow our lead or follow your rhythm of what you're doing with that. But as they go along, you can't sustain that, because as you
now
start to develop or anything with it, now I gotta teach you how to read the sheet music in order to make this work. So what you did in this concert that got a standing ovation over here, you can remember and know how to do it again in this next concert 3 months from now. So I gotta bring you along and start showing you and start teaching you how can you read what you did on there. And that's where they have it, to where they have those printouts to where you see them doing those drum cadences and they can sit there and say, here's that whole sequence right there. Study
now
this and repeat it.
now I can identify with that, and I will tell you a story about a my friend's band. So there was a little
Mhm.
issue where they had to let something happen during an actual show. So one of my friends had to be let go. So his replacement comes in. Sounds something like what you're talking about.
Mhm.
He knew he was exactly like that. He knew he could go off of their lead. Problem was, as good as he was, you could tell that he had the skill.
Right.
but it wasn't working. And now he's not there. And I knew it wasn't working. I knew it wasn't working from the moment of the very first show. And I knew it wasn't working. And I'm not even, I could just listen and I could tell, I'm like, mm, ooh. So guys, how's it going? Oh, yeah. 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 Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's not there.
Now, was
And
that the
and and
first show
and
or was that a couple of shows in?
that was the first show, and then that was every show after that. And he was there
Okay.
for and he was there for a while.
So
And and I got told part of the reason why it was, but my thing was even if I even if I obviously I have to put that into account that you guys don't get to practice as much. After doing so many shows and him being as good as you guys know him to be, shouldn't it still click? Should something work? And and but what I'm saying is and what I'm saying is like I said, little by little. You got 82 games. You got plenty of games. You got plenty of practices. Y'all gonna see each other.
right.
By the end of the first year, we should have seen some improvement, but you didn't. And then the second year come, and it was the same thing, and they were still
Well,
trying to.
the second year, by the time he got hurt, they were already given, they were saying
Yeah,
that
but
he
the
could
games
possibly
leading up to him getting hurt, it just looked like the first year. I'm like, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I really like this dude. I see that he has some skill, but I also feel like, and they were still admitting that they were still feeling everything out. I'm like, my God, it's been a year.
and
How much?
and
And
I
I
think the
respect
other
Pop.
right, but I think
I
also the other
literally
part about
respect
that
Pop,
was
but I had to ask the question. I'm like, I see that he has the potential to be something. Why are we still trying to fill him out?
because he was
What are you telling us about him? Because I don't want to assume things, but one or two things is happening here. Because one or two things is happening here. Either you're telling me that his ability to pick up is so slow that you're like,
we don't know that, and that's the things we don't know. That's the parts of it
right,
that
but then that's the thing that made me question because knowing Pop and his track record, that's why it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, dude, you picked up plenty of people uh
but
uh uh from overseas. It don't look like this. And he came with hype. The other dudes didn't come with hype. He came with hype.
I
Like
think
like
I
like
think the other part of it that we also have to realize was how much was Pop's health keeping him in the mix of it before he actually took that turn and was out. Because when he first came over, Pop was worried about trying to do them. Plus, he still had his hands in USA basketball, and then he went out and had the stroke. So
yeah.
we don't know how much was Pop. Pop might have had him that first year and was trying to get him acclimated. We don't know how much Pop had him that second year because from what we hear,
Yeah. We know
Pop wasn't there at
we
all.
know the second year he wasn't
Right.
the second year he wasn't around much, and I could feel that part. But like I said, just that first year, I just every time I was able to watch game, it didn't feel like it had a Pop development feel to it. And every time somebody asked him, we're letting him feel things out. And I'm like, dude, we're well into the season.
Mm-hmm.
What's really going on? What do you mean feeling him out? But you at least see what I'm saying
Yeah,
and
I see
where
where
my
you're going with it.
confusion comes
I
in.
see where you're going
It
with it.
it
I always was trying to when it came down to talking about that situation with Wemby, when Wemby first came into the league, I was skeptical because of his size.
Well, yeah, so was I.
And I wanted to see if he was going to be able to blast bang it in there. Last year, he started showing me that he could bang in there, and he was willing to take the contact in order to be in there and play defense. So that's when I kind of started saying, okay, I was warming up to him, and then he got hurt, and I was like, well,
Yeah,
shoot, because the Spurs were a playoff team before he got hurt. So it was like now once they were on the Friends, they was playing when he got hurt, and then afterwards they just let it slide. But they had started to build around him to where those things to Pop was always big of if he knew what your strong suit was, he would start building the team around it to where those things that everybody was hyping about that player when they first came in there, he was putting players in position to where it took that responsibility away from it to where if he needs to, he can do it, but it's not his responsibility. They got the point guard. They went and got De'Aaron Fox. They started manipulating things around there to where they start building the team instead of it being, well, we're going to let Wemby go out here and try to drop 50, block 10 shots, grab 20 rebounds every single night. So that's where you try, and I think it, and God willing, I wish Pop had more time with them, because I would be sitting up there thinking by year 4, they would have been a top 2-3 seed. I was
I
just
think
to give them
I
that
think if they stay consistent, they got a chance to do that now.
right. But that's the only reason why they still have that chance in order to do that now was because the structure that we talk about with everything else in sports, that hierarchy structure, Pop said, this guy is going to be my replacement. I'm here. I'm still player personnel. I'm still involved, but that's the person that's running it. And that person's going to keep my philosophy going into there to where it doesn't feel like it's missing a beat. I'm not changing completely away from what it by hiring somebody that has a totally different dynamic, totally different thought process, other than what I've been teaching him all these years into it. He's built up that cachet to where they were just like, who do you want to run it? You want him to run? Go ahead and
And
let it run.
and and that's why I still got love for them, even though they clearly fell off. And speaking of structure, that leads us to the Mavericks.
Oh yeah, he's fired.
Yeah, I saw that. And
But this is why. And it's crazy. But this goes back to what we talked about right after that trade was happening for Luka for Anthony Davis.
uh
You traded somebody that you felt couldn't get into shape, which is the easiest thing that for somebody to do as an athlete in order to convert. But you was worried about the habits and the people that was around him that you felt would have been preventing him from doing that. And that's what you build it off of. And I have no problem with that. But you traded him for somebody that hadn't played a full season except for the one season when he won a championship, and that was a 2-month break in between there because of COVID.
and he also had an issue with staying in shape and staying mentally motivated and things of that sort. He
Right. So
also
you
he
traded.
also had this issue.
Right. So you traded 1-for-1.
Right, kind of like with the Minka Ramsey trade.
Right.
Um uh so now uh from what I read, Clay is pissed that he's benched. You seen what I sent you that
Clay
one
should be. I'm sorry. Clay should not be when as a shooter. You need your legs. Your leg was basically completely destroyed because you went from having an ACL tear to an Achilles tear on the same leg.
Mm.
So that is why Golden State, they brought you back. They brought you back into the fold. But once they saw that you weren't going to be the 1B to the 1A of Curry anymore, And during that championship run, let's call a spade a spade. The Splash Brothers wasn't really Curry and Thompson. It was Curry and Poole, and then Thompson splashed water into the bucket every once in a while. When that writing was on the wall, your pride is, no, I'm still a Splash Brother. I'm still gonna ride this till the wheels fall off. But you never gotten your legs back. Now you go to Dallas, you go to Dallas as a free agent. You wanted to do it for a fresh start. They saw immediately you weren't the same player as you was back then. They played you. You've never really put up any of the numbers comparable to what you did in Golden State. Sometimes the grass is not greener somewhere else. You left from a system that you knew,
and
a system that think about it now. Hindsight being 2020, don't you think Clay probably would have wanted to stay with Golden State with how Golden State looks now?
He did want to stay, but
you're not going.
I'm sure he was pissed. But we know, everybody knows, and I don't know if any of them will admit it. That whole thing where contracts came up and Draymond and Steph obviously got his, and then them two was up, and for some odd reason, Draymond got his before, which if they knew what was going on with him physically, that probably also played.
That's exactly what it was.
And so
you have to be, one of the hardest things about, and we've had this discussion as well, one of the hardest things when you are running a franchise is you have to learn how to separate business from personal. Golden State will always love. There will be a statue of Klay Thompson erected outside of the arena for him. Curry and him.
There's no way you can mention those championships without
Klay. Right. There's no reason. So there's no reason. But at the end of the day, if you're hurt and you've been hurting, we know that you're hurt. You fought back. The applause that you got when you came back out there and shot the free throws during that finals, knowing that you was hurt. No, trying to hold the dynasty together as best you could, but you was hurt. Then when you came back in and when you came back after fighting all the way back and you did that, we revered you for doing that. But at the end of the day, how can we sit there and tell the fan base as a whole and our shareholders as a whole, we're going to sit there and pay this person X amount of dollars, and this person is only maybe about 45 to 50% of what they was at their peak? We can't do that in good mind. The same argument that they have for Klay is the same argument that on the other side that the Lakers had with Kobe before Kobe left. They paid Kobe for the sentimental factor of it. He was a shell of himself. And I'm the biggest Kobe fan there is. And I admit that. He showed his glimmers, but to ask for Kobe to do what he did, to pull himself, that he did back when they won the championships, to now, no, that wasn't expected. So what did they do? They sat there and said, we're going to pay you, we're going to max you out these last couple of years. We're going to give you your farewell tour, and then we're going to tear it down to the studs and rebuild it back up because we feel like we owe you that for what you've done for this franchise.
And for all the crap that they've given, I still say that the only thing Nico did wrong was he didn't get one. He went after AD.
Yes.
Two. The original agreement was 2 number 1 draft picks and AD. And I don't care if I am your friend.
He got hoodwinked.
And he did. And that part you trashing for, and him getting AD, because I did not agree with him getting AD just because of the fact that LeBron saw the writing on the wall, and I don't care what nobody say. LeBron can say he didn't know.
I don't believe none of this stuff.
LeBron could say he didn't know, but the only way that I can believe that that's possible, the only way I can believe that that's a possibility was because
That
of
got
what
nixed.
was because what happened once Luka got there. Because when Luka got there and they held that press conference, even
Mm-hmm.
before he officially hit town, Pelinka was telling everybody, this is a new era, and this is Luka's team. So to sit up here and to act, or to be upset because what you heard and all the actions that either you ignored or you thought was going to change, because I saw it and I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
even there full time. I just saw
No.
it from I just saw it from a few times watching ESPN, listening to Rob Pelinka, then listening to Rob Pelinka when Luka was there in the first press conference and he was standing next to Luka. It was there, but so
It,
because of the fact that that we gotta push through. I saw another article, and then we're gonna move on from the NBA.
just
So
just just to wrap up that one. That whole dynamic got killed, and people didn't pay attention to it when they sat there in the past couple of weeks, and they sat there and said that Bronny was the one that let the team know about the trade before any was the one that was sending out the trade to everybody in the text message. So there's no way that Bronny Jr. is gonna know what happened and Daddy didn't know.
I didn't know that part.
I'll
Um,
find it and forward it to you. But they it just came out in the past couple of weeks to
of
where
course it
somebody
did,
was on
because
a podcast or something. They said that Bronny was the one that was sending out the text message talking about the trade.
and you know what? It seemed like the longer that this little whatever's going on with LeBron goes on, and I've been saying it for a while, especially since Luka showed up. I was seeing it on the social media, even with some of his fans. Obviously, I a lot of them come through my work. I feel like even the Lakers are tired of this at this point, but they don't want to get vilified.
They
So
can't be. And I don't taking my Laker fandom and balling it up and sitting over here on the side of the table. This sit over here for a second. There's no way that you can vilify it when
well,
a
it's
player
competing.
had no. Here's the reason why. Because you when you came out, you had the press conference. You said it's a new era. You was changing it over to Luka and everything. You started to look at your decisions around Luka. Right after that, if everybody is 50-50 right there when you make that decision, right after that, you sit there and free agency hits. You can't really, you start bringing in, you bring in a center. That's in order to help out Luka. You start re-signing players in order to help Luka. Then you get handcuffed by the person that used to be the head of the snake saying, I'm going to opt into my contract and take the max. So that takes away all your money that you had available for it. Oh, by the way, after me opting in and taking all the money, all of a sudden I have a sciatica nerve issue to where I can't play at the beginning of the season. You've had all off season in order to address this situation, and you wait until a week before this regular season starts to sit there and say, "Oh, I can't play. I got sciatica." Guess what? I have sciatica. I understand how that comes. It comes and goes. It's not consistent. You're going, and you've been sitting on your ass. You've not been. You've been on the bench. And here's the thing about it. When you're at that stature, the camera's going to always look at you whenever it's on the sideline. You're sitting there stoic on the end of the bench. You're not interacting with none of your teammates for the most part, unless they're sitting next to you. The only time we see you get up and you hyped up about something is if it's something with your son who's normally in during garbage time, or it's something to where even you have to get up and say, oh, wow, that was actually nice. Other than that, you're sitting up there just like this for the entire game. There's no way the Lakers can be vilified from this. Because at the end of the day, what's going to end up happening is
there's a way.
They're going to try to, but you can't. Because if you even remotely have common sense in order to look at what's going on with it, you're going to sit there and say, he's not happy being there. He's not the HNIC there anymore. If they get anything for him by the trade deadline, I'm at this point, I'm being real when I say this. Trade him for Clay. Send him to Dallas. At least I got a 3-point shooter that I can get at least 10 minutes off the bench and get me some points. And continue to stretch that deep.
I don't think anybody wants I don't think anybody should try to grab Clay right now for the simple fact of you must understand he's going to go Gary Payton on you. I don't think that just because you change the location, he will all of a sudden become
okay. No, I'm not.
He will all of a sudden become okay with taking a back seat.
No, but I will say this: with his new significant other, LA is probably the best bet.
Yeah, I didn't even know that about him until that message I sent you, because dude been going off on him since he was in Golden State.
I can't knock it, but that's right there.
He's like, no wonder you ain't got no legs.
That is the oddest couple that I would have ever thought. Now, his personality that was coming out with him when he would be coming in riding a boat and everything, he started showing his personality side of it. Okay, but you went from that clean cut guy, dapper, to body yada. That's that guy that's over in the corner, sitting up there like, that's my girl, that's her. Look at her twerk over there. Go right ahead, dear. I'll deal with it when I get home. Yeah. But I mean, love happens in mysterious ways.
All right. So I need your opinion on an article I saw. I don't know his last name. We're gonna say that the story is by Shane Gary. I'm not gonna butcher his last name, so we're not gonna say it.
Okay.
I got this off of basketball network.net, and the article topic says he's basically late 2000s Andrew Bynum. Bill Simmons delivers a brutal assessment of Embiid's decline.
Oh yeah. Oh, I seen that one. I seen that. I seen that one. Yeah. And he's not lying. And here's the reason why he's not lying. And I'll say it like this. We know for a fact, and this also ties into what my concern is about Wemby. A lot of these players that were raised overseas and they come over here, unless they had nutritionists that was working with them, or they were inside of one of those programs like Real Madrid or something like that, to where they manage every single part of them for that. You can have the NBA Europes, the NBA Africas, everything that you're scouting all these players for, but you don't know what their bone structure or what their body makeup is until they get here. and you have too many players that came in here. Let's go back. Manute Ball. Let's think about let's think about Yao Ming. When they all came over here and they actually became a part of it, and they was in the game for it, they could not even once they got situated with it, they developed. Yao Ming developed into Yao Ming. When he first got here, they was shoving him off the blocks. So when you start talking about, the only thing that I will give Embiid a little bit of grace period on was the fact of when he got hurt and he was doing the rehab, what I had mentioned to you before, where they had an intern managing his workout program and his rehab regimen instead of having their head of training doing that. If this is a process and this is an investment, I'm gonna have my top people working on you. I'm not gonna have an intern that I just brought in from Penn on a scholarship, on an unpaid internship, to sit up there and say, hey, your whole job is to manage Joel Embiid. So they did wrong. 76ers everything that's happening to the 76ers since this has started is on their organization. But at the same time,
but this has been a problem since way before that, because if you
exactly.
remember, Allen Iverson was on podcast years ago, and he said that people, and he basically presented why people misunderstood. He came up with a bunch of reasons that people misunderstood what he meant by what he said was what's practice, right?
Right.
So uh so when he said that, and this actually made me open my eyes to the situation, but this made me realize that um definitely need to know all the details of certain situations, because he said that they didn't even have an actual practice facility. They practice in an event center, and if the people that ran the event center had an event going on, they couldn't practice.
Right.
And that plus um I think he said he had a friend die or something like that he was dealing with, because they was on him about the practice situation. They was on him about him showing up late, and but okay, so when Embiid was healthy, which is why I question the person that they chose to compare him to.
Mm-hmm.
I get the part. I guess I kind of get why they went in that direction, but the part that made me pause was when Embiid was like 100%. Hell, when he was like 80-90%, he ain't nothing close to Andrew Bynum. Now him being hurt, I could see the comparing that with the mentality of Bynum, where, because to me, a lot of uh, uh, Bynum's mentality held him back.
Bynum, I don't think that, and thinking about it, the comparison is not fair, because Bynum felt entitled because he was the number one pick. So he didn't put forth the work to make it last. He was pretty much the Jamarcus Russell of the Lakers at that time. He had glimpses of it, but
Yeah,
when they drafted Bynum to replace Shaq. And
even in Cleveland, he wasn't consistent enough.
No.
And he was a heck of a player, but you basically had the understanding of, hey, I'm here on the team. Uh, from the moment the game starts, you better make sure you're giving me the ball within the offense so that I can. He had to be ball dominant, had the ball from the beginning of the game, be included in the offense throughout the entire game. You had to make sure you was looking for him to get him the ball, or he would just it just wouldn't work. So
I think more than anything, Embiid is a tale of shoulda, coulda, woulda. They should have taken more responsibility and more ownership in making sure that they did right by him in the beginning, from even back at Kansas up until he got drafted to Philadelphia. Coulda, you could have done more to build alongside the process instead of just letting the process just kind of be out there meandering and just using that as a tagline that became a punchline. Trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. Because trusting the process got you what? One MVP year and a few playoff appearances. And let's be
and
honest, if it
and
wasn't for Maxey bursting onto the scene to be a comparable number two, you wouldn't even had that. And the woulda is, would you have done right by him if you would have seen what it's led you to now? Would you, or is this just ingrained in your team? Like you mentioned with Iverson, we can go all the way back as far as Julius Erving and Moses Malone when they were there. Would you have done what you needed to in order to make it work? You can't. You load manage the shit out of him. But the problem with load management is you don't build muscle memory. You don't build repetition. Practice is a part of it. Gameplay helps get game conditioning helps you get there. How many players do you sit there and you hear them turn around and saying, oh, they've been out in a while. It's going to take them a while in order to get in game shape. How can you get in game shape if you're being babied all the way through? And the player is not the person that wants to be baby. He wants to get out there. Oh, no, for our investment, we're going to sit there. We're going to let you play for 20 minutes a day. You're going to have to go sit on the bench, little Joely. Just go on over there. Just go sit right there and be a good cheerleader for the rest of your team. We're going to suck, but you're going to be great. And after a certain while, your body ain't going to bounce back like it is, especially after it's been through that much trauma. And when you're tall, they automatically tell you that. When you're tall, when you're a tall person, when you're slight in build, and then you're trying to bulk up on that slight of build, if your structure is not set to handle that extra weight of that bulk, it makes you more fragile. So when you sit up there, when you get a tear, it's a difference from tearing the Achilles against something that has a strong bone structure to where they can sit there and drill it back in to there and put you on rehab versus something to where when soon as they start drilling into it because your bone structure is not good, is not well enough, you get a hairline fracture around there. Now you got an infection. Now you got to fight that off. What turns out to be what should be a 6-month rehab turns into a year, turns into a year and a half. Now you got feet problems because you're trying to offset, trying to not put all that weight on that Achilles on your feet. Your feet are your shock absorbers. If they ain't set up properly for it, now you got feet problems. It builds up. It builds up. And that's why where his case is more on the injury side of it, Bynum is just flat out laziness. Bynum didn't want to put in the work. If you would have put Bynum in the same situation as Embiid, Bynum would have took the load management just because he would have said, "Oh, I ain't gotta play that hard." Shit, I see him bench. Somebody give me a popcorn and a Coke, and would have been cool with it because he was still clocking his check. He still was number 1 draft pick. He had his money.
Yeah.
And that was before they put those wage scales into it.
All right. So going back to what you said earlier, who are your surprises?
Surprises? I don't really have any. That's the crazy part. It's not the surprises for this season have been the fact that the Lakers has looked as good as they do without LeBron, which
Yeah, but
which
I was saying that
I'm
even
loving
last
that.
year.
I know, but you know, we can sit there until we blue in the face, and everybody's gonna sit up and say, you can't play well without God.
I couldn't say it. I know what I see. They
We
were missing
can,
some
we can.
consistency, but the
Right.
reason
But you can't build consistency when you got somebody ball hogging
you
that
you
doesn't
you
like the pass
you
anymore.
you know you uh because we've been talking about this for a while, and this has got nothing to do with hate. You want people to get more consistent, then you got to include them. Just like when Kobe was there, and you remember when he got hurt and he was off, like he might have been off a month, and they didn't win every game, but they won more games than they lost. And the look on his face when he saw how everybody was doing, I believe that was one of the years that they ended up going on to win the championship. Uh, but he had to see that you got some players here, you got some dudes.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta work within it, and you got to give them a chance. You got to hold them accountable, because like people have been saying since even last year, Austin, which is why I've always been laughing, and you know me, they've been talking about how long they've been talking about get rid of trade Austin and trade Rui and get somebody else,
Now
and
they everybody, all the pundits want him to throw Austin into the trades in order to try to get something that they felt was better. But the Lakers have always sat there and said he's off limits. We're not trading Austin.
yeah,
Rui,
and LeBron
Rui,
didn't want him traded anyway.
right. LeBron, and because God said he didn't want anybody traded that was in his inner circle. But now, if I bet you, if you go ask God, does he want anybody traded over there now? He'll say it because his disciple that's been showing out with that seems to be becoming more friendly with Luka than he is with God.
That's just like Jackson Hayes. Uh, 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 everybody dogged him for his inconsistency last year. You put him in there with Luca. Now, once again, he back to playing consistent. He's happy.
Yeah.
He's
He
he
wants to
he.
change citizenship. Dude want to leave being an American citizen from Cincinnati and actually go and be and go over and be part of the Serbian team now.
Yeah,
Like, go ahead.
and just so he can play with Luca,
Come
so he
on,
can
buddy.
always play with Luca.
I can
That
always play with my best friend.
that
Yay!
that is I heard about that, and I just kind of chuckled a little bit. But I will say that because of what I have been seeing, I am shocked by my Spurs, especially when Wemby. It gave me hope when I heard that during this time dealing with the blood clot, he was over. Where was that? Did they say China or did they say Japan? I
Ooh,
I know he was over there. Might have been a
was in
boot.
Japan.
Either he was in either at he might have been at a monk temple.
Yeah, that was You know what? That might have been no, that was China. I think it was on the China tour.
Yeah. So they said he was over there, um and he actually was in a temple, and they showed him with his head shaved.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Part of me wonders if I could do with something like that, but I would have no way to keep my bills paid. Um,
I think the biggest shock, and thinking about the shocks, the biggest shock right now to me, Indiana, 1-9, coming
okay,
off of a Game 7 finals. That shows me part of that shows me one how important Tyrese Halliburton was as their engine, and then two how important Miles Turner was.
yeah,
Because I would have, if you would have told me coming off of a championship season that they have the same record as the Wizards and Brooklyn 10 games in.
okay. So 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 here's the thing. When I heard that Miles Turner got traded, I in my head I immediately went, this is not good for them. You're making a change that don't need to be made. What are you getting in return? Is it going to be anything close to what you're losing? Because while I did see a little bit of inconsistency from Miles Turner, which I worry about that for the Bucks, when he was dialed in, and everything clicked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I definitely see the talent in him. So to lose that, plus your star player isn't there, which even with him, there was a lot of times where I would watch them play and I would wonder like how they got to where they were with the because they have people, but to me there was a consistency issue, decision making issues. It's like, yeah, don't fall in love with the three. Play your game. You guys play better inside outside. Yes, you can have your one person that you want to shoot the three, but everybody else be trying to go to the hole and trying to get to the hole. I spent the weekend screaming at teams because they were the NBA teams because I watched a lot of the NBA games and like the Warriors like demolishing by the Nuggets on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
They got demolished. And Hill comes in, and I get that he's a 3-point specialist, but bro, it's okay to go inside the 3-point line. It's okay. I've seen you make shots from inside the 3-point line. It's okay. Go inside. Go. Every time they went inside, they made more shots than they missed. Shooting them threes, not so much. And at least while he's not hurt at the moment, you want to make every shot that you can because between Murray and Gordon, y'all got murdered. Joker didn't have to do much. You had to worry about Murray and Gordon. And Gordon wasn't playing with y'all. It was a murder from first quarter on, the whole entire game. And the other than not having a big, the Golden State looked like they could be a problem.
Yeah.
Them not having a big is still a problem to me. especially when you got somebody like Joker that you're in the same division with.
Yeah. But and that's why that question comes into play of who's going to be available as we get deeper into the season.
Right. Because as soon as Gordon goes down, Murray can't put everything on his
No,
shoulders.
no, because there's no way that he could, and it's not. But the crazy part about it is that the league is starting to see right now the emphasis that they took away from the centers is starting to bite teams that are a center away from being in contention. They don't have nobody. I get the stretch part. I honestly get the stretch part when it comes to that. But at the same time, if you look at the West right now,
Yeah.
Thunder has Chet. That's a stretch 5. You got Wemby for the Spurs as a 2 seed, stretch 5. You got Jokic, stretch 5. You got the Lakers that has Ayton, and Ayton feels like he's having a resurgence a little bit now because he actually got a team around him that will pass him the ball and let it go in there. Houston is all height, and then you start getting into 6 through 10. Who's
I think
Minnesota center?
I think Freddie being hurt them.
Freddie for
Houston.
Houston. Houston was a problem when they made that team, and nobody wants to say it, but how can you have a team with everybody that where it looks like KD is the shortest person on there and you don't have a true point guard?
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I heard Freddie was hurt before the season even
Yeah,
started, I went, "That's not good."
yeah.
Um, um, but the other thing, if Shingun don't stop what he doing, I'm going to become. I don't like to not like players and based upon their actions. But that game against the Spurs, he did a lot of flopping, and I don't like it.
But that's where they just that. But
And I
that's
know
their
he ain't the
deal.
only one because I didn't seen some other people doing it, but his was like definitely other than the part where other than the part where Wembley just basically mugged him.
Yeah, yeah. I will give you that one. That one was bad. That one was
All the
bad.
other stuff, all the other stuff, and there might have been a little floppish to that, but but the other stuff, it was clear acting, and it's like, dude, you're too talented. Why do you need to do that? Why? And there's a lot of other players that are doing it. People sit up there and they purposely lose control of the ball and the refs they under so much pressure so then they calling the fouls even though they're sitting up there showing it on the replay, nothing actually happened. And you can't trust the home fans because the home fans, if it'll get their team to win, they'll say God came down and smacked somebody in with the other team's jersey on. It just,
Mhm.
just and you'll
But
get it. But
it just makes it to where now it's the flopping. I'm glad that they calling the fouls now. They're calling the technical on it a little bit more egregious, especially the ones where they look. Some of the calls where the refs be calling the people that's flopping be looking like the WWE stuff, like when Dom would be doing something trying to act like Eddie Guerrero, and the ref would be looking at him like, it's a no DQ match. Why are you sitting up there pointing at him? Because Rusev's got a chair. Rusev hit him with the chair and just
right,
let it go.
yeah,
Some of it they just be looking at him like, for real, you going out here?
yeah.
They got to get
So
it out of there for it. And I mean, but that's another thing that God implemented.
as long as they keep calling them, the players gonna keep doing it. And I don't care if they don't hit them until okay the game's over. Some and some stuff gets sent in to the league office, and then the next thing you know, they sitting up there in practice chilling, finding out, oh hey, if you do this again, you're not playing in the next game, and
Mhm.
you won't have a check. It's like, well, that ain't fair, and it ain't fair that you're putting added pressure on referees to call fouls because you don't want to use your talent, your natural born God given talent that you do have to get the foul call. And it's not hard. You go to the rim and that guy makes body contact with you. Nine times
Mhm.
out of ten, the ref is gonna call it more often than he don't call it. Make sure that he don't make contact with the ball. That'll also force the ref to call it. Like, oh, he made contact with your body, but he didn't make contact with the ball. Foul.
Yeah, it just it's to where it's like, okay, what do you do when it comes to to the flops? I mean, unless you start levying suspensions for if you're going to call it tech, if they count towards your technicals that get you suspended for a game, a la Draymond that always gets 2 days off because he always hits the numbers his numbers for the technicals during the season. And unless you start doing that in order to try to get people to get out of doing that on a regular basis, it's not going. It's gonna be a
Which you even got pundits trying to get college players. I'll say this piece and then we'll move on. Uh you got even like well known like college pundits trying to get stuff overturned with the rules regarding targeting. I was watching the game a couple weeks ago, and somebody was on the verge of being in trouble for targeting, and the refs didn't feel that it was targeting. And I believe it was Joe Collette said I believe they need to overturn that. We should not have star players out of the game for targeting. Then then you know what? Just get rid of the rule completely. And then when you have stars out because the players are putting them out, then you can start complaining about that again. I, I'm a firm believer in you know what? I'll play your game. You know
goalpost.
what? Remove the rules.
The
And then
goalpost. The goalpost sways to the opposite of what everybody wants
well,
all the time.
yeah,
It never fails.
but here's the thing. They're saying what everybody is saying and what everybody is thinking because as like we talked about when this whole thing about safety got implemented, everybody thought that they did something because they actually got people's attention
Hmm.
and got the big bosses, the people with the money. We got them to move for us. We are the movies we watch. Yes, we did it. And then when the rules started getting implemented, they went, "Wait, what's that? Huh? Wait, wait, what? So wait, you weren't supposed to do that." I mean, I know I asked you for it, but that no.
I thought when they said, I thought when you meant targeting, you meant like somebody getting thrown into somebody, not somebody just standing there. And if they're coming across the center of the field and they go to catch the ball, and it just so happens that a shoulder or a helmet cracks inside the other helmet and something like that because they're trying to make a play, that person can actually get flagged and get kicked out the game for doing something
Not
that
my
is a
star
natural,
player. This
not,
is not. I didn't realize you were going to end up having to penalize my team.
yeah. And that's the part of it that hindsight being 2020, a lot of the stuff that they asked for would be changed if they didn't ask for it.
Yes,
It could have been.
yes, they're going to pay the players. What 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 do you mean he doesn't play for us anymore? What?
Who offered them more money?
He didn't like what was going on here. What did you do? But wait, why didn't he stay? But well, This is
Wait a
not
minute.
what I asked for.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Time out. You mean to tell me that he left because he wasn't getting playing time? But we're up for a national championship with the player that was making 30% of what that guy was making, and now he doesn't want to come back next season to take his spot. Oh my God.
Oh man, you guys have screwed us on the playoff, and now we got to go over
We
here and
won a
play this.
national championship, but you don't have him coming back. What's the point?
Now we got to go over here and we got to play this ball game. What do you mean half the players left? Huh? What?
Did you see that?
How can they leave? We paid them.
Ooh, that transitions into college football. Because did you
Yes.
see that? Did you see the there was something I saw on Instagram stories where they was talking
No.
about Ryan Day coming out and talking about they switching over to there's one transfer portal period, and the portal opens right at either the beginning or during the college football playoff. So you literally could have players during the college football playoff leaving their team if they were upset about playing time, how much money they was getting, and everything else. Think about free agency in the NFL during the playoffs.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with it. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it.
So
Yeah.
so let's call a spade right now.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Jeremiah Smith can't go pro after this season. He still has another year of eligibility before he's eligible to go pro into the NFL. So he's going to be in college next year. Let's just go say that my Oregon Ducks sit up there and say, we'll pay you $20 million in NIL to come over here and play for the Ducks. And the number one team in the nation loses one of their star wide receivers during the playoff because he went to go take more money and go to Oregon.
Or even worse, not only do they take him, but they take some of their star defensive players too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
College football, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
And enjoy the chaos, folks. But before we actually go into some of the games that went down this weekend, so looks like LSU and Brian Kelly still aren't done with each other yet. You hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently LSU and him are disputing his buyout.
What did you
And
expect?
huh?
What did you expect?
Yeah.
What did
Um
you expect? And I've been on this platform for many episodes, profusely displaying my hatred for Brian Kelly as a human being and as an opportunistic little snake.
but wait a minute though. If they owe him 54 million
Mm-hmm.
and they trying to get him to take something else,
And did you hear why?
guess what? Then you shouldn't have made it that. I get what I get what you're saying. And
no, it's not even anything with the on the field stuff. They got him on violating ethics for messing with a student.
Oh, they didn't put that in the article.
No, they're not going to put that in the article. But again, as tapped in as I've been with everything going on around LSU,
Well,
part of
okay.
that settlement, he has a morality clause in there. That's why the original settlement that they came at him with was 34 million. Then it dropped to 24 to 27 million from the 54 because the morality clause got kicked in. Because they have footage of either a student assistant or a cheerleader or somebody else coming in and out of his office area allegedly outside of normal staffing hours.
So, okay. All right.
It's going to get
So
messy.
one would think that the smart thing with that you would think, and this is why every time you bring up when we're talking about sports and you keep using that C word,
What's he word?
um uh uh that common sense.
Oh yeah, I know. I bring it up because
You keep using that C
I
word,
tried.
and every time you use it, I know I know occasionally you got to see the look on my face,
Yeah.
why are we what we can't automatically associate, and that is going to lead us into something that I was shocked at myself. In the NFL, we will get to it. But for right now, yeah, this story is looking like it's getting ugly. Kelly's team basically has said that they had until today at 5 p.m. To meet the deadline, or else his team will be taking all available legal remedies.
Go ahead.
Um,
Go ahead.
whoever wrote it didn't proofread because he totally threw me off. I'm sitting there reading it, and it said Kelly's team has reportedly set a deadline for this confirmation on Monday, October 10th. And I went, wait a minute, it's November. He got fired on the 26th. What it oh, they didn't proofread. Never mind. It's like
It comes down to and the sad part about this is that LSU is going to have a downtime before they come back to to the prominence of what they deserve to be and what they've been known to be at. All because this man's ego is going to try to outweigh the brand. And he's not going to outweigh the brand.
Yeah, he's trying
It,
to look like the better person because according to a quote, he said, "As we discussed in our meeting, I am open to your desire to reach a settlement of what's owed to me under the contract, although, of course, would have to make sense financially. Despite
but
your
what's the
decision
difference between
to
but
let me go today. I am grateful I had the opportunity to lead this program over the last 4 years and wish you all the best going forward. Best, Brian."
so let's call a spade here. You got right now, you have Brian Kelly and James Franklin. James
Okay.
Franklin, James Franklin has a buyout clause, right?
Yeah.
In his contract, he has as soon as he finds employment at another school, their payments for him pretty much they pay out that lump sum that then they're out of it. And that's it for it. James Franklin's going to get another job. He's going to get another job probably at another Power 4 school. Brian Kelly is doing this in the same ilk, and again, I'm going back to it because it ties into it. He's doing it the same way as God James is doing it. I want all my money. I want everything that I'm owed.
He probably did.
Even though I didn't fulfill what I came in here to do. I did all the cutesy stuff. I'm dancing in front of the things with players that end up not even coming to the school with me on recruiting visits. I'm trying to have a New Orleans drawl, sitting up there saying, y'all want some crawfish, baby? And doing everything to try to fit in when I'm not from there. I can't fit in from there. I've done all, I want the payment for the embarrassment of riches that was presented to me, and I made shit from it. You kick me out because I underperform. I have a buyout clause. Did I do anything to live up to what that contract was? No. So here's the thing. If they sit there, like anybody in arbitration or in legal, they sit there and say, we hired you under the premise of you were going to give us these deliverables, and you gave us these deliverables. What makes that to where if we offer you this as a viable settlement based off of what your results was from there, what makes you think that you should get full compensation from? And that's before we even get into all the extra stuff that might be in there that they might have did. He's setting himself up for a fight to where even if he gets the 54 million, you got the governor of Louisiana in there. You're going to make it to where either one, by the time you get finished going through legal, you're not going to see that 54 million. Or two, if you see that 54 million, Brian Kelly will never coach a Division I team again. Because here's the other part of it, and here's the reason why I said that when it comes to LSU. Knowing how dirty they play, and you've already had players come out sitting up there saying, glad he's gone. He never did really try to do nothing in first place. Prominent players that's been in the NFL that's been there since then, that have not been coming to bat for him. If they turn around and they say, oh, by the way, he violated some bylaws in the NCAA code of conduct in there while we was in there, y'all might want to investigate that. They'll take going on suspension again. We've been on probation before. They'll take it on there. They ain't gonna give LSU the death penalty. But if they do that and they do just like Michigan did with Jim Harbaugh, where they put a 10-year show clause on him in order for him to get hired, you think Brian Kelly's gonna wait 10 years out in order to try to get another college football gig? No. Brian Kelly's been a piece of shit for a long time. I told you the gloves been coming off, and they're coming off. He's been a snake. And that goes back to every team that he's been at since then. I said the same thing. When he walked out, and like I said, and I remember this day like it happened yesterday. When he sits there right after the season is over, and UC just won the Big East and get ready to go to a bowl game, and he sits there and says, I love this team. I love the city. I love everything about it. We didn't build something amazing here. I'm never going to leave here. I'll never want to go anywhere else. And the next day, before the banquet, you show up while everybody's getting ready to meet in order to celebrate what they've done and get ready for this bowl. You bring the team together and announce that you're going to Notre Dame. You don't even stay for the banquet. You get a chance, try to look up Marty Gilliard's interview that he did on 700 WLW at the banquet, and how honest he was when it came to that. I am so glad that LSU or Notre Dame never came here to play while he was here. Because they probably would have needed snipers on top of the roof over at UC. That was the first time I ever with everything that has happened with sports, for what I know and love throughout this city, that was the first time where I actually felt vitriol towards somebody. Because you took a program that was right on the cusp all the time. Even when, I can't remember what his name is, when Mark D'Antonio was the coach and got them almost to the precipice of it. We grow up in Cincinnati. We know Cincinnati sports is normally a stepping stone for you to go do greater things along the way. That's why they call the University of Miami the cradle of coaches. Because all these coaches that have had Hall of Fame years got they start there. You see, same way. But there's never been, when D'Antonio left, okay, there was a ceiling that seemed like it was there for UC that we had a feeling we could never get across for. Kelly broke the ceiling and then took the glass and stabbed everybody else in the heart with it. Then went to Notre Dame and did the exact same thing. Because we would call, let's be real, we would call Notre Dame one of these schools to where unless you go into the NFL, that's one of the top of the line.
Yeah, but he, from what I remember, that it didn't go well for him most of his time there.
They were always, you got to think about it though. Notre Dame had an easier way in order to get into the college football playoff. Most of the time when they lost and they couldn't get in there, it was because of his poor coaching decisions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He went there, but it was, everybody regretted it, instantly regretted him coming there.
Right.
I remember that.
Because once they saw it was a snake, it looked real good. That golden dome looked real good around that piece of shit.
Plus, he was Chip Kelly's brother, so that helped.
So, and once you got to a certain point there for it, but let's call a spade. Did Notre Dame want him to leave? They weren't pushing for it.
No, not initially. Eventually, they had to.
Right, because LSU came a calling. So once again, somebody with a bigger pot of money comes towards you and says, "Hey, you can come here, and you can do what you did there."
Yeah, because the fans have been calling for it for a while, but yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you had what? He had how many years there before he left? I'm about to look it up. Brian Kelly, football coach. Let's bring up the Wikipedia on this idiot. What's new? Come on, show me the Wikipedia. Where's the Wikipedia link? God darn it.
11 seasons.
So in 11 years, your combined record there was where'd it go? Yep, he came in there December 2009 and he left in 2020.
Uh-huh.
So where's it at? Where's the end of it? No, he finished 92 and 39.
Pretty much 50%.
Yeah.
All right. So, games. I mean, it's if I was him, I would have took whatever money they gave, and I would have left, quietly.
But that's
especially with that news. It's like, do you really want that getting out? If he is married, that probably
he is married.
That probably won't help that situation.
Nope.
Because you'll get, even if you get to 54 million, you'll be giving it to your ex-wife, um, unless she knew about it and was okay with it. You never know these days. So, um, but anyway, man, I will say this: I feel sorry for Penn State.
I do too. I do too. They played their ass off, and I
They
caught the
did,
back end of it.
but you know what? I saw the writing on the wall. I knew they weren't going to win the game because after they got the lead, they took the ball two more times and they didn't score so much as a field goal. And I went, they getting ready to lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like because they couldn't stop Mendoza. It's like, dude, get a field goal, get something. Two
That
field goals, y'all would have been set.
that man is making him a hell of a lot of money with how he's playing right now. Because he has shot up everybody's
Yeah,
draft ranking.
yeah.
For
And I was listening to the game. I was out working, so I couldn't watch it. But but uh but yeah, that game was insane, and that wasn't the only game that went like that. Let me see if I can find it because for some odd reason the game is escaping me. But it was a late night. Uh, there was a game. You know how I am with the whole starting it over and watching it. Um,
what was the other one? Because it was top 25. Uh
so
California, Louisville. It was either Cal, Louisville, or Vanderbilt, Auburn. Those were the two closest top 25 ones that was on the back end of the night that night. Because those are the games I did not get situated in order for me
no, there
to.
was another one. There
Oh,
there there was another one that 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 the team almost lost, but I don't see it.
Wisconsin, Washington.
Nah, it was daggone it, where's that game at? Because the game ended up where the team that won, they won 38-32, but they almost lost in a comeback.
Tulane, Memphis.
Huh?
Tulane, Memphis. That was
Yeah,
yeah. When Memphis outscored, nobody scored anything in this daggone second half, and then all of a sudden Memphis went on a run and almost beat them, but couldn't finish them off.
yeah.
They, it was that game was almost the equivalent of the who was it yesterday? Darn it, who was it? The Texans game, the Texans Jaguars game, where it looked where the Texans the Jaguars had them handled, and then all of a sudden that fourth quarter they couldn't stop nothing, and the Texans came back and rattled off the 26 points in order to beat them. That was the exact same way with that Memphis Tulane game because
And
Memphis.
if I'm sorry, if you don't get if you don't take care of the Texans offensive line, Stroud can beat you.
And that wasn't even Stroud. That was the backup. Stroud was out last game. That's yeah. That look just made it to where that was their backup.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Jacksonville's coach when he threw his headset and stuff down at the end of the game, he had every right to because they gave that game away. It was
Hmm.
Mills. Mills is their backup. Mills had to start because Stroud was out with concussion protocol.
Yeah, speaking of that, is it just me or you notice that everybody don't have to adhere to that, or they must have changed the rule or something?
No, I think it's a double-edged sword now because it was one of the games that was on Red Zone yesterday. It was the Seattle game where they called down on 3 plays back to back to back and sent somebody to the medical content because somebody looked like they was woozy. and then they checked out and went right back into the game. They did it with Smith and Jigba. They did it with one of their offensive linemen, and they did it with a defensive player for Arizona during that game.
And they also did it. Yeah, they've been doing it the past couple of weeks. That's why I brought it up. But um, but yeah, so just watching the games that I was able to watch because I like started over and watched them. Um, man, it was. Yeah. And then BYU, Texas Tech, me and you talked about it. Oh, and the Iowa Oregon game, that is the Iowa. That is what I expected. That kind of close simile. That's what I expect from Wisconsin. Wisconsin, Purdue,
Wisconsin showed it.
Iowa, teams like that. You may beat them, but they gonna make you work for it. That's what I'm used to. So this Wisconsin that's being the Wisconsin that it is, it's like, wait, what? Um, that's why I was shocked by it. So that it
It's
and then Miami got a freebie game.
boy. Yeah, Miami
They
really got a freebie game with that.
yeah they got a they got a freebie game and they went to town on it.
Yep. But
But
they did too. They did
but
too in order to get some type of reaction out of theirs because Beck just was looking like he was kind of lost. They needed to recenter. And that's one of them games to where you beat up on the teams that you need to and get yourself right before you go up into
I think
competition.
okay. So just like in the NFL, I think that there are certain quarterbacks where you just know, yeah, he's on the team. We will use him,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I got it.
but our plan is run first because Tony is a monster.
Oh yeah.
That dude Tony is a monster. I will say that about that dude. That dude is a monster. And he should not be held down because of the quarterback. Speaking of, because there was a couple of times during the game, because I was watching it up until I looked to see what the final score was, and I was like, oh, so this is gonna end up being a blowout. And it was so late, I was like, yeah, I don't want to watch this. Let me watch something else. And then I switched over and I watched the Auburn Vanderbilt game until I fell asleep. And so yeah, no, his 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 ability to handle adversity, it's not been looking good over there on them sidelines.
Mm-mm.
Um, and they were talking about it during the game before I turned it off. They was like, and nobody. They talked about like the aura of the whole sideline. It was like when he was mad because of the interceptions, it was like he was mad, he was screaming, and nobody went over to him. Michael Irvin didn't go over to him, coaches didn't go over to him, players didn't go over to him. They just kind of and you're not winning a championship like that.
No.
You're not winning a championship. You're not getting to a playoff. I know that because I my JV team was like that. And we didn't have anybody to rank to really like we didn't have anybody to try to rein us in and get us to pull it in, unfortunately, because we were the JV. So we were the butt or getting yelled at by everybody, by the varsity players, definitely by the coaches. And you just don't know how hard it is. You sit up there, hike the ball, while the quarterback is handing me the ball so that I can try to run the run play. I
Mm-hmm.
already got a dude ready to tackle me to where I have to concentrate, make sure I get the ball so that I don't fumble it right before I'm tackled. Walk over to the sideline. How come you didn't try to run here? What? Like, dude, I didn't. I'm sorry. I wasn't going to be like future players that I ended up watching that try to make a move before you got the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It it was that especially taught me that. It's like, okay, make sure I get the ball, then worry about what I'm going to do.
But they don't want
And
that.
you know, you go over to the sidelines and it's so like demoralizing that your coach is yelling at you like you actually had a shot to do something. Like
Yeah.
I could see if I was given the ball and I was at least able to run in a direction, but when I already see players from the other team coming at me, I'm practically face to face with me and I barely have the ball in my hand, dude, there was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
And, you know,
It's
and
just
so but and that's why I'm always harping on what's the mentality of the team, who is the leader, because the varsity team has some super talented dudes, but when it came to being like what a teammate should be, I feel like they missed the mark just because of the fact that it was a situation, it was that normal situation of we are the haves, you are the have nots that want to be us. And instead of like embracing, they more or less you know, it was anything that you ever watch. He didn't tell his mother.
uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I'll tell you later. Um uh yeah. So basically I do understand the mental part of it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to transition this over to the NFL, since we're already talking about the NFL anyway. Uh, but some so did you watch the Sunday night game?
No.
Wait, it wasn't the Sunday night game. It was, did you check out the Berlin game?
I saw the first part of it before I went to church.
Okay.
So I
So
saw when I was like, wait a minute, what's going on with Indianapolis? And then I heard one of the things that I heard that shows me that player teams are paying attention to what you've been saying and what I've been piggybacking off on there. And when you just sat there and you just mentioned something about it earlier, when you sat there and said, when do you stop? When do you stop letting Josh Allen cost you the games and rely on your running back? Because that is exactly what Indianapolis did. Daniel Jones started playing like old Daniel Jones, and they
because
said,
the line couldn't protect him, they was teeing off on Daniel
yeah,
Jones, and and Taylor was teeing off on them. That's and so I'm sitting in my car when there was nobody there, and I'm yelling. Well, there was a couple of times that there was a rider in there because I had a Bluetooth, so they knew what I was yelling at. So, but anyway, um, every time Taylor ran the ball, he was killing them. He was absolutely killing them. So I did not understand why I kept hearing Daniel goes back. He's under pressure. If you know he's under pressure and you know they can't stop the run, what the heck are you still throwing for?
because they wanted to throw the football.
I went to the football. You went to the football. I went to the football.
This whole thing of quarterback versus quarterback. Yes, Daniel Jones is having a season that that basically, if you had actually been paying attention to what was going on in New York,
You would have understood it.
you knew obviously the first year when he had his best line, that's when he did all the stuff. That's when he had the almost 80-yard, but he ran out of gas, which is still I envision that, and I still remember seeing the highlight where he run it down and he run it down and he got close to the end zone. He got to about the 10 and ran out of gas, and he just fell, and he got up laughing, and everybody was laughing at him, and but yeah. And this is no disrespect to nobody. I get it. Even the coaches, they have a hard job
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out, especially within the game. It's one thing to come up with a game plan, and it's another thing to implement it. That's another reason why I always say you can tell me their potential all day. What does it look like? Because all the years that the Bengals, including in the 90s, they had players on defense
And players on
that were
offense.
good and players on offense that was good. That on paper, they should have been in the playoffs. I'm not gonna say guaranteed they were going to the Super Bowl,
Never
but they should have been getting looked at if not for the offensive line,
Yep.
because the offensive line couldn't keep the quarterback upright. The running backs, other than Corey Dillon, Rudy was pretty good, but he was still line dependent though.
Yeah, Rudy was line dependent. Corey was Corey. Corey had a Hall of Fame career before he left.
Went to the league. Yeah, he was a talent. I just didn't like his ego. I'm sorry. Yeah. Year one, you wait till after the final trade deadline. Soon as it's over, I wanted to be traded. Why did y'all trade me? Why wasn't you saying nothing during it so that we would have looked at
they would trade you to where you wanted to go.
Right. And he would always wait until as soon as the trade deadline had ended, all of a sudden, I wanted to be traded. Why didn't they trade me? He did it 3 times. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with you. And then I didn't appreciate, even though I wasn't a Bengals fan at that point, I still go by what's cool and what's not. While I understand that you were a winner and you wanted to win there and you were mad that you couldn't win there, there's still a level of respect that you did not show them. You did great things there. You, at the end of the day, you still did great things there. It didn't equate to a bunch of playoff appearances, AF championship appearances, Super Bowls, and I get that end of it. But there's a level of respect that when I found out he went to the Patriots, I actually got pissed. Up until I think it was week 3, and he messed up, and Tom walked over him on the sideline, helmet off, and he knew he messed up, so he's sitting over there on the sideline with his head down. And Tom, he didn't care nothing about that. He walked over to him and he was in his ear and he was just screaming at him. And I'm like, that's it, Tom, get him. You are not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. Get it together. They ended up getting the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And they ended up getting the Super Bowl. So it and I think he only missed one game. He only ended up missing one game if I remember correctly. And but I will never forget it. I can't remember what he did, but I know he messed up and he knew he messed up. And Tom there was no mercy. So the people that claim Tom was a crybaby, Tom is real competitive and it can get real ugly. Especially if there's nobody to police it. That's why Bill O'Brien ended up getting dismissed from the team because man, I hate to say it, I love Tom, but I actually would have loved to have seen what he would have actually done defending them rookie wide receivers if he had actually could have got to Tom. If I ever get the chance to have him on the show, I'm gonna ask him. I gotta ask him. I'm like, dude, okay, you gotta level with me. You gotta walk me through exactly what Tom said, because the camera showed Tom was mad. He was sitting down and he was beating his helmet on the ground and he was just yelling. and he was just yelling outward. There was nobody in front of him,
There was nobody.
but he was just yelling and screaming and pounding his helmet on the ground. And all of a sudden, they showed Bill O'Brien turn around because I guess he got sick of it. And naturally they caught that on camera too. And it was about 2, 3 guys trying to hold Bill back, and they were not doing that. They were having a hard time of it. It was a hard day at the office. And and I couldn't help, I just busted out laughing. I'm like, oh my God, Tom, chill. You've clearly struck a nerve. Chill. We get it, you mad, chill.
He wasn't on it. He wanted blood at
And,
that
and,
game.
and, and, and you know where he ended up, right? He ended up at Penn State. And nobody will ever know how great those teams did because they were in the midst of the Sandusky situation.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't go to any bowl games.
Nope. Nope.
And
Remember that.
but their teams actually did good under him. And I wish I get he wanted to be a head coach in the NFL and he wanted to coach in the NFL, but my question would be, had he never left there? Because I believe after he left is when they lifted the sanctions.
Yep. Right after.
And and um and I would have loved to have seen what would have happened in that situation. Exactly where that would have went. But looking at the games, uh I had a feeling when I saw the Texan Jag score, I had a feeling I lost that game. And
I
but
was just like, what the heck and why? That if there was one thing about this week
mhm.
was, like I said at the beginning, there's too many teams that put up chef's kiss games last week and came back and was like your corner bodega today.
Mhm.
And I mean not the good corner bodega, the one to where don't nobody want to go to, and the health department is getting ready to go shut it down.
And everybody need to calm down on the Bills. And here's why. You need to be concerned because they've now lost 6 straight. But
The Bills,
yeah,
they ain't
because
lost six straight.
well, no, no, because they beat that's right, they beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
So but they lost like a few before they played the Chiefs.
the Bills have lost this season against. They almost lost against Miami. Oh, pull it up. Too many computers going on at the same time. Record. They lost. They beat. They lost to the Falcons. The only games that they've lost so
They
far,
lost to the Falcons, the Patriots.
the Falcons, the Patriots, in the game yesterday against the Dolphins. So they've been on a streak right now to where they've won. They went 4-0, 4-1, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3. So they've lost. They had the back-to-back losses against the Patriots and the Falcons, and then they won 2 straight, and then they lost this one against Miami.
Okay, well, something I was watching First Take today, and they thought that they lost every time they won the big game, which out of the past 5 years, because the Chiefs haven't beaten them during the regular season since 2020.
Right.
So every one after that, in the past 5 years, this would make the third time in 5 years where they lost the game immediately after. They lost one
But
in 2020.
mhm.
Um let's see here. No, 2020 is when the Chiefs beat them. Let's get that off of there. So they lost the game after to the Titans by 3 in 2021. They they went into a bye and then they came out of the bye and beat the Packers. So, but then after the Packers game, they 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 did lose to the Jets. Um, but talking about the big game, which in their case the big game, being the Chiefs, they haven't lost like the next game like every year.
I can't. One, okay, it's first take. I take everything that they say on their show with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
Two of their 3 losses, the only unexcusable loss that they have out of their 3 losses that they have is against the Falcons. That game they just came out. That game
but
didn't look right. But I don't get hyped up towards losses that are division rivals. I don't get, because you got to think about it. Everybody's going to ratchet themselves up even more when you're going up against your rival. And you've been owning your division for the past 5 years. That's why when New England beat them, it was more of a big to-do of New England coming up and getting back to where they needed to be than it was Buffalo faltering. And then with the loss yesterday to Miami, we got to remember, if it wasn't for that second, what was it, that fourth quarter against Miami, they would have lost to Miami.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing. When I need to know why when they play a tough defense that makes things difficult on them, why they put Josh in the position to play hero ball, because
Because that's what everybody does with their quarterbacks.
But here's the thing. The reason why he did so well last year was that even in doing that, even in that happening last year, the reason why they won more often than they didn't was because he did not play hero ball. But in his defense, which Cam said today, and I'm glad he called it out, because I need to know what happened to Keon Coleman from last year that looked like he was figuring it out. I know what's up with
Shakir. Been a regression.
I know what's up with Shakir, because Shakir is his definite go-to, and they're making sure they take him out of the game. And but when that front four can get to you, or even if they send 5 and they send them so fast that Josh is having to try to figure it out on the fly. And now Josh is going back to the Josh before last year. Now he's trying to play hero ball, and it's not going. I saw it in the Patriots game.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in the Falcons game. I unfortunately did not get to watch yesterday's game, but I can imagine that that's what happened there. And and this is why I'm always emphasizing the complimentary. At the end of the day, no matter what, you got to do complimentary, because if you don't do it, and or you've been put in a position where you can't do it, I may be able to pull most of the blame from you, but I can't pull it all.
No, you can't.
So and that's why we always have our big debates when we're going back and forth, because I'm like, okay, I will pull a lot of the blame over to this side, but I'm not putting 100% over here now. Because just like with every other team, where are the leaders? You know, the craziest thing about this season, I didn't realize how right I was when I told you and Andrew that we really don't know how this season's gonna go. I didn't realize how right I was gonna be.
No. And
this
it's like
is insane.
And it's like, okay, when I sit there and I think about looking back at these games yesterday, parity, the NFL wanted parity, you got it. You can't sit there because games like, did I think that Seattle would just go and just destroy Carolina? I mean, destroy Arizona? No. Seattle just went in there and just to have 2 strip sack fumbles for DeMarcus Lawrence to run back for touchdowns. That game was over. I didn't watch. This is how bad it was. I did not watch the second half, the second set of games in at 4 o'clock after they got to halftime. I stopped because it was nothing made me want to watch it. Detroit and Washington. We knew Washington wasn't going to keep up with them. And Detroit has Sonic.
Oh,
They let Sonic go nuts.
Dan Campbell. Now, yes, I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to talk about that. He decides to, and I love how he did not throw dude under the bus. I respect that in him.
That's him.
But at the end of the day, it don't look good that you were calling plays. And this whole time, we did not know what he was actually capable of. Because remember, last year, what was they saying? They said Aaron Glenn was the captain of the defense. They said Ben Johnson was the captain of the offense. And that Dan Campbell was just the culture guy. Was he? Was he just the culture guy?
No, he was just the culture. But here's the thing. It came down to what, like I've said, when it came to the team that lost on the bye week this week. When it comes down to that, it's not about the sensationalism when it comes to it. It's about what makes this team click and make it to where it's balanced. Always leading up to this game, what did we hear from all of the team reporters? The Lions told Jameson Williams that they were going to get him more involved in the game. They haven't been seeing him getting enough touches in there to make him to where he's relevant in there, even though Amon Ra's been doing everything that he needs to for it.
And he probably been getting pissed, and Dan saw where he was coming from and said, you know what? I hear you.
Right.
I don't want this to implode. We got something beautiful here. I don't know. This is what we're not doing. We are not.
And then the other side of it with the running game. What would you see? What have you seen during Detroit's inconsistencies, especially in that loss against Minnesota? They might be running the ball. You addressed it. If you're running the ball, why are you passing? Why are you going against it? So we got somebody that thinks like us, that's a head coach that sat there and said, give me the fucking playbook. I'm going to call this game. And we don't know if he might relinquish it back. He might do it for the rest of the season. We don't know. But he said, I wanted, in the post-game press conference, he said, I felt like we needed to be more balanced. And that's what they did.
And he just wanted to see
how it would be. And as a leader, as a CEO, if I take the reins from it and sit there and say, with what you have in front of you, I was able to get 44 points against a top half tier defense.
They're old. They're too inconsistent. And for Christ's sake, I get you bringing in the veterans, but did they draft?
Their secondary.
Did they draft any ends?
No, I don't think they did. Washington, Commanders.
Oh, did you see what happened to what's his face after he did the dance?
Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra's a jerk. Everybody, and that's the other thing. This is the other reason why I don't like watching social media and certain pundits after something happens on the field. You immediately go into, oh, he's not reading the room. I seen Josina Anderson's, I think, post up saying he wasn't reading the room on there. Everybody, understands that Amon-Ra St. Brown is as much of an asshole as I am. He doesn't care. This is the same man that sits there and the chip on his shoulder is, I want to punish every single team that drafted another wide receiver ahead of me.
Yeah.
That is my end goal. So do you think he really cared when they asked him what made you do the dance? I heard that he was in the building and I just felt like I would just go ahead and do the dance. It's not about a political stance. It's not about a following. It is pretty much, hey, Trump's in the building. That dance looks real stupid. Let me go ahead and just do the dance real quick. And then let's just.
And I found out a lot about that man that I was not expecting to hear. Because of the morning game. Because he was there too.
Yeah.
And apparently he used to play football, loves football. Start hearing him talk, and I swear to God, dude, I swear, I had to control myself so that I wouldn't lose control of my car. He literally started analyzing the game like he was one of the analysts. It was hilarious as hell. I was like, holy crap. I mean, I knew I was a fan of you because of Vince and the WWE, but damn, I like that. I still don't, I still could care less about you being the president, but okay, all right. I got to know a little bit more about you, and it entertained me. That's nice. And apparently he used to play football. They apparently even found the team, found a picture, a high school picture of him, which
Oh
you
my
could
God.
barely see because it was so old.
Well, I played football with the team and I did it and I was good. I was very,
He
very
did
good.
not like the players.
Very,
He did
very.
not like his quarterback.
My quarterback never threw me a ball. He's a bum. He never wants to play where I fired him. I
Bruh.
fired him from being the
But
quarterback when I bought the team. Yes, I bought a high school football team. That is what I
and
did.
and yeah, but just to sit there and listen to it, and I had to admit it, the whole thing was entertaining because when I found out they brought him on, I'm like, okay, what the hell are you doing this for? And then just to listen to him, and even the way he analyzed teams, it was like, man, that's damn near weird. I almost want to pull the guy on the show, but 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 yeah, and like I said, it was hilarious to listen to. It was entertaining. It got to let me know a little more about him. Besides the fact that people hate him, and that despite what people say, he's not bringing the country together. When you say he's bringing the country together, who exactly are you talking about, and why are they the only ones considered a part of the country? So, which I have a lot of friends that are Trump fans. Matter of fact, I even bought a shirt that one of them wore after one of them made after he got shot. He made this silhouette type picture of Trump uh putting up the middle finger, and it said, "You miss bitches." And when I walked up to it, I instantly started laughing. I'm like, you know what, you my boy, this made me laugh. I'll go ahead and I'll buy this. Like, so I could actually imagine Trump actually doing that. It just middle
No,
finger.
yeah, I definitely can.
You miss you miss me, bitches. So but yeah, so and before anybody gets it twisted, I don't know if you missed the memo of what I just said. I don't care about that the man is the president. Um it's to me, it's not solving anything no more than when Obama was there. There was division, there was still division, and we weren't all one. When he was in there, when Clinton was in there, when either one of the Bushes was in there, when Reagan was in there, and I can't go back farther than that because I would be going by hearsay because I wasn't old enough to be paying attention at that point. So, so yeah. Um,
I am the way that I will put this is, and in all honesty, when it comes to this whole situation for that is politics for me. As much as I was a history major for part of my time when I was in college, I love history when it comes to it, but the way I look at politics is that it's no different than the Bloods and the Crips.
right. and like now they've been fighting over the shutdown. I've jumped into a couple of conversations, and I've just plainly said, like, look, okay, I'm done hearing the excuses. I don't care who's at fault. Because
I,
I've been hearing one. If I ain't hearing this, the Republicans' fault because of this. I'm hearing this Democrats' fault because of that. All of a sudden, the Democrats have become this big, powerful conglomerate that's even more powerful than the mostly rich Republicans. Okay, uh, as I tell people, as far as I'm concerned, y'all treating us like y'all are our parents and we're the kids, and you're trying to get us to pick a side. And I'm not doing it. I see two people arguing when y'all supposed to be taking care of me, when y'all
I,
supposed to be helping to take care of me. And stop the arguing and sit down and figure it out because you say you care about the American people. If you care about the American people, then if you know something need to get done and you know when the deadline is, if you got to miss that special function you were supposed to go to, if you got to not go home to the wife and kids for a few days or a week or a month or however long it takes. Last I checked, the tax dollars say get it done. You saying that you represent the American people, you care about the American people. Prove it. Get it done. There should never be a shutdown because y'all should always be working together and come together at the end of the day to work it out. Like the old school superheroes when I was little. Yeah, we knew certain people didn't like certain people, but as soon as they saw the bad guys, they was like, okay, we will continue this.
after we beat their ass.
Yeah. So
It,
we will continue this, but let's go. And
and
and and and
my
so
my
that's what it
whole
was.
spiel with it, my only thing that I said with it, it doesn't until it starts affecting my pocket or my family, I don't really care. But now it's to that point because you're affecting flights, and I got a flight that I gotta catch in 3 weeks. No, what's today? In 2 weeks.
10th.
Yep, in 2 weeks. I got a flight that I gotta catch to where I gotta be on a flight at 6 o'clock in the evening and on a Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and then gotta turn around and be on another flight at about noon that next day to get back here in this city. Let something get canceled because because people are playing around with people that are controlling and making sure that the skies are safe, and there's not enough hours in the day for them to do that because y'all want to bicker about something that has no necessity. Then we have a problem because if I gotta drive 9 hours to get back and forth again after I done spent a pretty penny in order to get these tickets in order to bring my child home, oh, rest assured, ain't none of y'all getting reelected around here. I will start campaigning as an independent and start putting other people over on there like it's WWE. No, that's the champion. They need to lose their belt. Lose the strap. Let's bring up Joe Smo that's actually going to work for the people in order to go do that.
All right.
All right. What time
Yeah.
is it?
It's almost 8:30.
All right.
So looking at it, this season is
You want to know how bad this season is? Well, not even how bad. From our picks, and I got the tally.
okay.
I'm winning by 1 game.
Mm,
You're right now, you are 94, 53, and 1.
mm-hmm.
I am 95, 52, and 1. That is how crazy it is. The extremes that we've had, we both had 15 and 1 weeks. Mine was week 1, yours was week 2. Ever since then, it's been what the heck. Ever since then, I've lately you have been on a little bit of a lull. So
Yeah.
since week 4, since the tie week with Green Bay and Dallas,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you were 9-6-1 that week. You went 5-9 week 5.
Mm.
And then you flipped it. You went 9-6, 10-5, 6-7 in week 8, 8-6, and then you're currently 8-5 with the game going on right now with Philadelphia and Green Bay.
Horrible.
I have been middle of the road for most of the season. I've had I was 8-7-1 the tie week. Then I went 7-7, 7-8, had a 10-5 week, 9-4, and an 11-3 last week. Last week was my strongest week since week 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm 7-6 now. So I'm banking on that win in order to get that in there. But I think we both had Philadelphia. So if we both win, I'm still a game up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been we're hitting that 67% almost on our picks, but it's still like I didn't expect for it to be that close for it. And I'll post the spreadsheet in the group for it so everybody can see the but it's been a tear. And yesterday was just one of those weeks to where you just kind of sit there, you like, okay, yeah. The Denver Vegas game was just crap.
Dude, that was hilarious.
That was crap. And I couldn't and I did get a chance to watch it because I was exhausted.
Oh, trust me, you didn't miss anything. And I will say this. I've never championed I don't like champion against coaches. I will question some of the things that they do. I really need to know the way Denver was teeing off on Geno Smith to the point to where he was limping well before the game was over. Why Pete Carroll did not sit him down.
Because
And I still say that if they had brought somebody in and gave what was that quarterback's name?
I don't even know who their backup is. Who is their backup?
Who were the quarterbacks for the Raiders?
Kenny Pickett.
They should have stuck him in. They should have stuck him in. I believe Aiden O'Connell was the name I was looking for.
But I think Aiden O'Connell's hurt.
He had potential. He just needed a line. And because when the line was good enough to block for him, he showed potential with the receivers. But he needs a consistent line. He's definitely line dependent, and that line cannot be half-assing. So, and basically what happened to Geno all game, by the fourth quarter, he was clearly limping, and he should not have finished the fourth quarter. So the people that was coming out, I saw certain things. I wasn't true because people always posting clickbait, so I wasn't sure what I should or shouldn't click on. But they were calling Pete Carroll senile, and and so whether it was an actual reporter or some fan trying to get some clickbait attention, yeah, and I completely understand it because I was looking at Gino like, why is he still in the game? I get that the game is still close, but why is he still in the game? He is clearly limping. And they are teeing off. They are teeing off. Him healthy was a problem at the beginning of the game. Obviously, if he's limping, and I just I'm surprised that, as much as I hate to say it, I'm surprised that Tom has like any like him being a consultant, like to what level? Because I didn't understand Gino being picked, other than the fact that Carroll said that that's who he wanted.
Right.
Uh, why wasn't there a quarterback attempted to be brought over in the draft or something? because
they were thinking for the season.
and I get you picking a veteran. I get it. Like just like the Steelers. You want a veteran so you could try to win now. I get the premise. Gino? Mm, no.
They wanted Gino for what Gino had showed while he was in Seattle.
Yeah, but what he showed while he was in Seattle was not going to carry the Raiders no.
Well, it was better than what the Raiders was when he left. I mean, when he got there.
What I
That's
hear
the
it,
problem.
but you fixed the offensive line. Like I said, they had some potential there, and again, that was another situation where dare I say it, your boy is gonna die on his sword, Stefanski. He's dying on his sword, and I believe Haslam has given him the green light, and I want to know why. He gave him the green light when he came out of nowhere, when everybody stopped talking about him and why Shador was there. He gave him the green light with what he said, and I want to know why.
Because you've already said it. You've already said it numerous times. Shador is not Stefanski's pick.
Right, but here's my issue with it. Your pick, he ain't doing great.
Okay, so let's think about it from this standpoint. If you bring Shador in, even though Haslam is giving you basically your out for it, and Shador lights it up. We all have seen owners sit up there say, "Hey, you know what I made? I told you that boy was going to be good." And now you have even more ammunition in order to fire Stefanski, because you can sit there and say, "We went with your pick. Your pick wasn't no better. We went with my pick. We got some wins." So obviously you don't know what you were thinking. You didn't know how to evaluate it. You didn't know what you were doing. So I'm going to replace you, and I'm going to go find somebody that can deal with my pick.
And another question, is Stefanski doing this on purpose because he wants out?
I would think that it's that one too. At a certain point, hitting your head against the wall with a rusty nail in the middle of a bear trap that's in the middle of a swamp that can catch on fire, because it's probably not just water, it's gasoline. And we've already seen that lake catch on fire.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to ask for that helicopter to come with don't even land. Just come with the drop ladder hanging out of there, so I can just reach up and grab it, and you can take off and pull me away. I might fall off because I'll lose my grip, but at least I'm not falling off there.
Yeah, I just it's because I keep seeing snippets of his interview, and he is just being he's being definitely standoffish, kind of like Yu Hakusho. In the one fight that he had where they stuck the knife in the ground and they put their foot against the knife and they just stood there and they just punching like nobody's moving because they using their power to protect the skin on their foot as they lean against this knife, and so that they don't falter while they're sitting up here and they're punching each other.
Yeah.
And I understand. I still say that Miles made his bed, but in this particular situation,
that bullshit.
My bad. I mentioned Miles. Um, although he did take the perfect stance this week because they were trying to get him to call everybody out, and he was like, the offense is not my responsibility. My responsibility is on the defensive side and with my teammates, was exactly what he said. And I went, you know what? That's the smartest thing.
That's a fucking cop out.
Hey, but
That's a cop out.
you could say it's a cop out, but here's the thing: if he actually does call it out, all he's doing is adding fuel to a already out of control inferno. And what's the point? And what would be the point? What would he gain? And he understood that. That's why he said what he said. He knew what the media was trying to do. He just wanted to talk about the game like he's supposed to do, like he's paid to do, and he wanted to move on. And that is the best version of, to me, that's the best version of taking taking your bed that you made and lying in it.
Mm-mm.
That's you may not see it that way, but I do see it that way because of the fact that he answered the question, he didn't do what they wanted him to do, and he was able to move on to the next question. And that's what every player, that's what every owner, that's what every coach, that's what certain players wish their teammates would do. And for once again, you had another player actually do it. He could say whatever he wants in the locker room. Behind closed doors, ain't nobody to hear. I wouldn't even say anything while people from the front office is in the locker room checking on everybody. I wouldn't even say it there. Obviously, stay off of social media. Unless you put it in somebody's DMs. That way, if what you said got out, you know who told. Like, I only said that to you. So if the media got a hold of it,
I'm gonna put it like this. I agree 100% with what you said with this. And I'm the only reason why I'm looking at this differently
okay.
is because you can put him in the same light as on the opposite side with Jamar Chase with the Bengals here, right? So if we say this even right now, Jamar never said, pay me or I'm getting out. He just said, I want you to pay me what my worth is, and I'll sit out and I'll play through the season for it. And that's what got him his contract. When they came to him and they asked him about it, he said, you gotta ask Zach about the defense. And people gave him all types of shit because he sat there and said, you gotta ask Zach about the defense. The reason why I take away from Miles that I don't take away from Jamar in that case for it was because you came out at the beginning of the season and sat before the season started and said, I want out. You voiced your opinion and said, I want it out. And then when they offered you the money, you took the money. And with that money comes the fact of pretty much you're the de facto leader of this squad, not just your defense, this squad. You are the figurehead. So when they ask you where you can exude some type of pressure, because you're still putting up Pro Bowl numbers. You're putting up numbers to where you're definitely going to be probably first team All-Pro. And when they give you the opportunity to where you can sit there and say, hey, and you don't even have to say it a way to where it's demeaning for it. You can sit there, the way that you can flip that around and say, we all have to play better in order to make this work, in order to make this team better. Your words, where you might not see it as being divisive, were divisive because you basically sat there and said, without saying it, I only worry about the defense. I don't worry about the offense over there and what they're doing.
And anything he said would have gotten taken.
No, because if he would have said,
yes, it would have. Yes, it would have.
if he would have said all, that's still holding you guys accountable for what you got, where you might be lacking a little bit on a couple of stops that you could have made in order to keep that game going. Because let's be real, they lost the game because one of his defensive players jumped off sides.
Mm-hmm. And here's the other side of that. Even when they say stuff like what you just said, I'm 48 years old, they get vilified for it.
You're going to get vilified no matter what.
Right. So if you're going to get vilified,
you think holds less weight? Sitting up there saying, when you know that your offense has been struggling, the premise of the entire conversation after those games has been Dillon Gabriel is not doing what they thought he would do in that role.
They shouldn't be putting it on his shoulders, but I digress.
Right, but that's why I'm saying you're not pointing out one thing. You're saying as a collective whole, the coaching staff, the teams, everybody needs to do better at their jobs in order to get through here, including me. If you say that, that minimizes all the other BS because they're not going to read. They can't read into it. Because they can't sit there and say, oh, they can try to.
They've been doing it for years.
Right.
They do more than try.
Most of the time when they imply that, most of the time when they try to imply that, you hear the other pundits come out there and say, well, he never said, he said the whole team as a whole. He might. But we can emphasize, we can think about, and we can hypothesize who he's talking about. But
then they'll go. But then they'll go. Did you look at his demeanor? Did you see the look on his face? That's why. Right, that's why I said.
Right, and that's all. That's all the extra that people try to dig in. That's that spoon, that cold spoon trying to dig into frozen ice cream, where you're trying to scrape deeper into there, but you can only get that top layer for it.
Right, and that's why. That's why where you see that he should have said the one thing, what he actually said, there was nothing wrong with it. There was nothing as wrong with it as it was with what you said. Now, does what you said on that end look better? Yeah, it looked better. He wasn't worried about looking better. He was. You could tell he was clearly mad that they lost.
Right,
and he was clearly mad that they lost, and he was trying to get through it. That's why he said it ain't my responsibility. The offense is not my responsibility. My responsibility is on defense. Next question. He was trying. It was like, hey, I know what y'all trying to do. It ain't about to happen.
And that's
another question.
PR savvy to where I'm not knocking them for saying it. I'm not knocking them for saying it, but you get more, to me, you're going to leave more to where if it continues to go down that path and you continue to say that, then it's going to start feeling more of, these my guys over here, I ain't worried about nothing that's going on over there.
Oh, I'm sure Stefanski, I'm sure all of the coaches.
Stefanski don't care.
They know how he actually feels. He trying to avoid any hot mess. He doing the same thing Miles doing. He like, okay, this is what I said. Next question. This is what I said. This is how I feel. This is what we're doing. Next question. He just trying to hurry up and get out of there. He don't look happy either. And that's why I presented that last part. Like, what if he's doing this? Because he's done with it at this point. He's had to endure and he's had to endure the Shedeur Sanders crap. He had to endure it because his boss sees something. And like I said, I want to know what he saw, because to turn around and just give Stefanski back the reins after you open the door to all this chaos.
Stupid. Haslam gave him back the reins, and I said that when you mentioned what he said about that. He gave him back the reins to where no matter what happens, Haslam still looks like he's good. That's all that was.
And
If it,
I still believe, but I still believe that there was something else to it. I don't know. I don't know if it had to do with the two tickets. I don't know if it had to do with something. There's something that somebody ain't that there's something that somebody ain't telling us
it's
because
high level.
be,
It's
be,
to the it's
because of the fact that when you look at it,
mm-hmm.
you mostly kept him. You mostly kept Shador with the third and the fourth strings.
Right.
You allowed
They're saying
the
that.
media for the attention. Now, did y'all use Shador just to get attention? And that's why you quote unquote before the season started gave him the reins back, especially after the two incidents with the tickets? And the fact that the media was always going to see him, and then there was it got to the point to where you kind of got the vibe like this ain't gonna go the way I wanted it to go. Stefanski, I think I'm gonna give you the reins back now, and I'm gonna disappear back in back into the shadows like I was before we drafted Shador. Because I got to be honest, I did not know who the owner was. I'd heard his name a bunch of times, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he used to be a coach?
No,
Okay, that's a different Haslam then.
it's a different Haslam.
Okay. Which
So
that's that, and that tells you how much I don't know him because when I heard Haslam, I thought him and Dion were friends because he used to be a coach.
so here's the reason why I said it's a higher level than that. Haslam is worried about making money.
Mm-hmm.
You just got government funding along with private funding to build a dome stadium. So you're gonna be kicking out some extra of your money in order to help pay for the stadium that's getting built.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best way to make money off of your team? Besides
So
winning and season tickets, what's the best way in order to make money?
publicity.
Publicity is one. Licensed apparel is two. Shador Sanders is the ranked fifth in jersey sales right now.
Oh, he dropped.
Yep. He's behind Saquon, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, and Josh Allen.
Wow.
A player that has not played a down.
Support is a mug, ain't it?
If you're number 5, so think about this here. So number 5, let's say per month you're selling maybe about 100,000 jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
A regular run-of-the-mill Nike jersey
Mm-hmm.
is 80, 85. So hold on, I'm about to look. Shador Sanders jersey. For a Shador Sanders jersey in my size on the NFL shop right now, $129.99 for an adult jersey.
Or a backup.
For a backup. So you're paying $130 out the door plus tax.
No, I'm not. But
No,
okay.
I'm just
No, no,
saying.
no, 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 no. I get. No, I'm sorry. That was an unfair jab, but that was an unfair shot. That was.
So let's say he sold 500,000 jerseys right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's $65 million off of jersey sales.
Mm-hmm.
His contract for him right now,
Mm-hmm.
4 years, $4.6 million.
That's a lot of profit.
Exactly. So why would you why would you not keep something that is returning almost 150% on your profit margin for what you got to pay him over 4 years? That's just right now.
Dude better be hurt.
Who?
The offensive lineman that just caused Saquon to get caught behind the line.
He better be.
He was, I guess he stumbled, and he looked like he was hurt.
Somebody stepped on his foot.
No, it just looked like he stumbled, like he might have been hurt, and Saquon ran into the back of him and then got caught. And I guess the field is slippery because the next play they tried to run a screen and Saquon slipped. So yeah, it's not going good for nobody. They keep taking turns like giving the
It's snow
ball.
up there. Is it snow on the field? Or is it cold?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Might just be cold.
Because they at Green Bay, and I know they got snow up that way too. They had got lake effect. So they might have got the field plowed on there beforehand, or they got the warmers underneath the field now.
Yeah.
But
So,
but just thinking about that. If a 5th round pick, 144th overall, you're paying $5 million total, which is the signing bonus tacked on to the deal over 5 years.
mm-hmm.
If you took that, he sold 500,000 jerseys every year. That gives him $260 million over 4 years of those jersey sales. And you only got to pay him 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you do have to do your splits with the NFL. So let's say it's a 50-50 split. That's still a net profit of over $130 million off of one player.
That's not even a starter.
That's not even a starter. I could care less if he's riding the bench. He's banking me money. Put the press in front of him. He might not ever see the field. The return on the ROI is there.
All right. What we talked about the Dabo firing at the beginning. Your thoughts?
Yeah, good riddance. I called it. Again, I am like really on all of these firings because I've been calling them around when they would get fired. He lasted a little bit longer, but that's because he played Jackson Dart.
I got a feeling that Jackson getting hurt for the 4th time, and now people were accusing him of
that wasn't his fault.
They were accusing him of putting Jackson like in the wrong position. Like, why are you calling so many like quarterback run plays when you know you got a quarterback? So basically, no matter what he did, he would have been in trouble with Jackson Dart. That's the bottom line. They should not have tried to pick up, knowing that they picked up Jackson Dart. They should not have gone in the direction of Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston, because neither one of them were going to save their jobs.
But I think Jameis in the situation that was there, Jameis was a better, just because Jameis is still somewhat mobile than Wilson was.
True. So I get the mobile part, but
yeah.
Here's what I also get. He might get you 4 touchdowns, but he gonna get you at least 3 interceptions.
But at least, but at least it didn't look like was you doing out there, Russell, in there. That was bad.
That was bad because Russell was, and I also blame this a little bit on play calling, because I don't understand. If you know that the line is coming after you, same thing with the Steelers game last night. If you know that the line is coming after you, why are you sending all of the receivers on 10, 15, 20-yard outs?
Why are you sending them on 10 to 15, 20-yard outs, and Russell has not shown in the beginning part of the season before he got benched that he could hit them accurately?
Well, the reason why he couldn't hit them accurately is because he didn't have the line in New York that he had in Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
And
So you know that beforehand, and you
right,
still,
and yeah. So okay, yeah. So all right, yeah.
yeah,
I get where you're going with it.
you
So
know
that
beforehand.
that was where I was with the Steelers game last night. Aaron, even if I get that you send in Metcalf,
Breaking, 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 breaking in, breaking in, breaking in, breaking in. Did you just see what just came across?
just came across what?
Cena just beat Dominic. He just completed the Grand Slam and became Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Tasha knew that was gonna happen.
I didn't think they were going to pull it because of how close it was to this tournament. So now
Yep.
whoever beats them in that, whoever wins that match is going to get the Intercontinental title. We
Yeah.
we a month away.
Oh, I think I know who his last person might be.
Sheamus
Yeah.
to complete the Grand Slam. I
Yep.
had a second feeling about it. Everybody's been yelling Gunther. I think it might be Sheamus because that way they'll
Well,
complete the
I
Grand
mean,
Slam.
well, it could be Gunther too, because you're gonna have to put a title on Gunther, because quite frankly, Gunther, you have to Gunther with titles is money.
Crazy.
So no matter what title you
Oh
put on him,
shoot! I didn't even pay attention. Jesus Christ! See,
I
this is
know
why.
I was trying
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was trying to wheel us,
I'm,
but see this just the we get we get to going and we get to going and we having fun and that's what it is. But so let me pull up the games.
got it. I'm
Uh,
already got the sheet out. That's why I
okay,
got the flag. The flag is waving for it. All right. First game Thursday. New England versus the Jets at New England.
I'm going with New England.
I'm going with New England. The Jets defense look like they might be turning the corner. Um, Washington at Miami.
Hmm.
Oh no, this is over. This is over the last international game.
Yeah, I don't. As much as I hate to say it, I'm gonna take a chance on Miami because I don't know what version of Washington's defense is gonna show up,
I'm with you right there.
and if Miami does to them what
They
does
did the Buffalo.
does to Mariota what everybody else been doing to Mariota, Washington ain't winning. So yeah, Carolina versus Atlanta. I oh. Mm, It's a division game. Both of the defenses are capable of making the other team have problems because Michael Penix is Kyler Murray 2.0, Sam Darnold 2.0. Anybody that you want to name that is a pocket passer that wants to focus on pocket passing, which means that when you put pressure on him, is going to heck. From what I'm watching, you can even call him Jordan Love or Jaden Hurts 2.0. So because both the defenses seem to be giving problems to both those quarterbacks, ironically. Anyway, but you know what? They're at home. I'll I'll try to let's try to go with Atlanta this week.
I'm going with Atlanta, but this is one of the ones to where I feel like we're gonna lose this one.
Yeah, I know. I know, and I can't stand that about.
Oh my God! Then the next one ain't no better. Tampa Bay and Buffalo. Ah,
Mm,
both coming
mm,
off of stinkers.
mm, mm. Mm. Wow. Um, Buffalo is at home. I will try again to go. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. All right, 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 all right. Looking at them. Uh-huh. And I'll go with Buffalo.
Another one that
This
we're
this is going to be interesting, and the reason why it took me a second was because the first thing I went to go look at was the records. Now, here's the irony: they have the same record, but it's different. So, at home, Tampa Bay is 2-2, but away they're 4-1.
fine. Yep.
At home, Buffalo's 4-1, but away they're 2-2.
Yep.
So this is literally a coin toss. Don't know who's gonna win this game. And that annoys me. It's like I want to be back on top. I want to win. I don't I don't like this. Yeah. So we'll see. They need to figure out something with that defense. I don't if they have a defensive coordinator, then McDermott better be on them to figure it out, or somebody better be under the understanding that they may not have a job at the end of this. And I feel bad for McDermott, but I got a feeling that he might be out also. If they don't do anything with this year, granted,
Ooh, hot take.
what's up?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's a hot take.
Yeah, I got a feeling that McDermott will be out because there's no way you're gonna save this. If they keep on going on this decline and they don't at least make the AFC championship, I don't think McDermott will be there next year.
That's correct.
I know the GM said that he got McDermott, but then this year happened. Then if he does like a lot of my supervisors do, might be a survival mode. Like it's either him or you, which one gone? And
Right.
I'm sure the GM gonna be like, well, Mr. McDermott, good luck on your future endeavors.
Pretty much.
like, um, and then what is the fan base gonna say? Because they've been wanting,
Revolt.
yeah,
Because he's brought them success that they haven't had. So revolt.
this and which way would they revolt? Would they revolt being on the side of he ain't gotten us where we need to go? Because I know I've seen it a couple times from some supposed Bills fans online, but you ain't really heard it.
Nah.
So so yeah, this is gonna be interesting to see how it turns out. So, but yeah, uh, um, my bad. Now I'm slowing this
No,
down.
you go.
What
No,
what's next?
Houston at Tennessee.
Houston at Tennessee. Good golly, Miss Molly. I'm gonna go with the Texans, and damn it, they better win.
They
Uh,
bet they better. Ooh, next one. Chicago at Minnesota.
um, mm, yeah, because everybody got that was another thing that I did not like, and why I will give kudos to Cam because he was the only person that called it out. Please understand that what he just did was against the New York Giants, and I immediately questioned because I didn't know Jackson went out, and they had a 10-point lead with Jackson still in the game. But when Jackson went out, then you put Russell in. He's basically a a light pole in the pocket,
Yeah.
basically a sitting duck, whatever you want to call him, and you are definitely throwing the ball. So you're basically asking to lose. So, uh, nah. So who's at home? Who's Minnesota at home?
Minnesota's at home.
Ugh. Ugh. Hmm. Interesting. Hmm. Well, from the looks of it, it's saying I should go with Chicago, but I don't know about that. Because apparently Minnesota's only 1-3 at home.
Yeah, they're not having a good year at home right now.
Uh,
Their only victory was the blowout against the Bengals. But I digress.
right. Hmm. Uh, I guess I'll go with the Bears. I got a feeling I'm gonna lose this one, but
I
I
don't
guess
I don't have a feeling with it. That's why I put with Chicago. I am starting to drink the Kool-Aid with Chicago,
I'm
and
not. I can't. It
I,
just the teams
it
that they're playing, and when's the last time they've played a team with a front? Which the messed up part about this is that Minnesota has a pretty decent front seven that could get after you, but the problem is if 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 Chicago's is getting after McCarthy and the defense is staying on the field, then Minnesota's defense is gonna get canceled out. So yeah. Um and then once again, Caleb's gonna have another week with everybody giving him drinking more of the Kool-Aid. So bleh. Um, but
Green
it
Bay,
Green Bay at who?
the
My bad.
Giants.
I'm gonna go Green Bay
Yeah,
because
I am.
I do not feel like I don't feel like they're gonna put Russ. I don't feel like they're gonna put Russ in
They
the
need
in
to
the,
start
in the
changing.
right position to to do what he needs to do.
I
And if I was Russ, I would seriously think about retiring because any team that picks you up, they're
they're not going to protect you.
they're not gonna do what they need to do to make sure that we see the Russ that we know you can be. And the last team that did that didn't have enough faith in you to try to keep you. They wanted to keep the guy that they were protecting everybody from seeing that he wasn't that good in the pocket
Yeah,
by calling all the run plays. They wanted to keep that guy at the end of the day.
yeah,
Um,
that guy's on the bench too. So I mean, it
yeah.
worked. All
Well,
right, Bungles versus Steelers.
this game ironically can go either way with the way with the way that both these teams are playing. As crazy as that sounds, I know the Bengals defense is and what they've been looking like, but with what I've been seeing from the offensive line and the play and the horrid play calling with the Steelers, I mean, you got Gainwell and you got Warren and you worried about Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball all the time. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And that was basically the sauce that helped the Chargers win last night. From even when they were down 3-2,
Yeah,
4 quarters, they ran a guy, and now we know, hey, they have another running back. Speaking of, so does Baltimore. They have three of them now. And I think they had him before because his name and his braids kind of looked familiar. So he
no,
was
Justin Hill's been there. They had Henry. The other guy's a rookie,
oh, okay.
but
All right. But they have him now.
yeah,
So you don't have to do you can actually let
Lamar not have to
Lamar
run all over.
focus on running and limit because last I checked, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't all the scrambling quarterbacks, haven't they been having issues since week 1 staying healthy? As much as people want to keep saying go with the scrambler, go with the scrambler, haven't they been
I
having
hope
some
that trend is
issues
dying.
get get,
I pray that
getting
that
up
trend is dying.
limping? Bottom line, they still need an offensive line, but the problem with them having an offensive line, if the offensive lineman can't trust to know where they're at, it makes it hard for them to block. And I get that too. And this is what I'm getting everybody to see. Who's the guy that's flourishing? Who are the guys that are flourishing the most?
All
Got
the pocket
Darnold.
pass.
You got Saint. You got Stafford. After that, it gets kind of murky.
It's all the pocket passers.
But yeah, it's mostly pocket passers that have lines that will block
Ugh,
for them.
ugh, that
What's the
game.
next game?
All right, who would you pick? You pick the Bengals or Steelers?
I am picking the Steelers, but
I can't pick the Steelers because I mean,
well, yeah, I know.
so
Uh,
that's our first head to head.
okay.
That's how bad this has been.
Right.
All right, Chargers at Jacksonville.
Chargers. I
Yeah,
I
I can't see that score. I
I
tried.
well, yeah, I believe they have a defense, but obviously, if a defense picks up and starts really getting after Trevor, then Trevor's gonna be the Trevor that he's been since after
That last pass at the end of that game was just sad. That pass was just sad. As soon as he threw it, I said, "Oh, this game's over." It should. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. So winners bracket from the NFC West tournament last week. Seattle at the Rams.
Holy smokes! Speaking of Stafford and Darnold, oh my God, I, I don't know. Uh, mm, you know what? I'm all. Oh God, I'm probably gonna end up eating this. Um, I'm gonna go with the Rams. I'm gonna go with the Rams and Seattle's defense and what they did to Jacoby is like really just beating me in the head right now.
And that's why I'm going with Seattle. And then the other elephant in the room. What's going on with Devontae Adams? Because he came up lame and was holding his back.
Damn him getting old. Uh yeah. Jesus. Stafford still got other weapons, but that's not good.
Yep. I'll give you a
Mm,
chance to switch that one later on as we get through the rest
yeah,
of them.
yeah.
All right. The losers bracket from the NFC West. 49ers at Arizona.
49.
Baltimore at Cleveland.
Baltimore.
Yeah. Kansas City at Denver.
Mm, mm, mm. After you know what, I gotta go with Kansas City because I'm sorry. Um, there's no way that if Bo Nix plays the way he's been playing, I don't care what their defense is doing. Their defense, as good as it is, it's not what the Eagles was. And as far as I know, there isn't anybody weapons wise missing from Kansas City, right?
No.
So I know that's going to leave it to where they're not going to be able to come as charged with more than four. That wouldn't be the smart thing to do with Kelsey being out there. Gray is capable of burning you.
Oh my
Um,
God. Are you serious?
uh-oh. What happened?
No, I did not pay attention to this. The Broncos are on a 7-game winning streak?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. That's what made that Thursday game even more perplexing because right
But you want
now
to know what?
he's kind of doing the I hate to say it, his name hasn't been mentioned in years, and it's ironic that this quarterback is doing it in Denver. Like this guy, he's kind of doing a Tebow.
Here's the only thing, and this is why I'm looking at it this way.
Hmm.
The only team that they did not play to what they were when they played them was the Bengals. They got up for the Eagles game. They beat the Eagles. They kind of meandered through the Jets game, beat the Jets. The Giants was coming off of Jackson Dart coming in there, so they got up for that.
And if Jackson Dart hadn't thrown that interception, Denver would have lost that game.
Right. So they got up for that game. That's the game they came back and won. What's it called? They got up for the Cowboys because it's the Cowboys. So they won that one. The Texans was kind of meandering. They barely beat the Texans. And then the Raiders are the Raiders, meandering. So part of me is like, do they raise their level of play again?
I'm fully aware that there's to the possibility, the way the season has been going, there's a possibility that I could be getting ready to lose this game. But my thing is offensively, they have so many weapons. You're not going to be able to tee off and go after Patrick. Not with everybody like you've been doing everybody else. Is you're going to have to your linebackers are going to have to like stay back and try to cover. And there's too many people to cover. And you got to figure out who going to spy Patrick, because if you don't spy Patrick, Patrick's going to burn him. So from an offensive standpoint, especially if ain't nobody hurt or playing hurt for Kansas City, this is their and plus for them, this is a put up or shut up because they just lost the last game that they played. It's like if you want to still show that you are something, you guys are at 5-4. And it's not, and it's looking like y'all about to be on the wrong end of not being in the playoffs. They said if the playoffs started today, Kansas City wouldn't even be in.
No, they wouldn't.
So it's literally time to put up or shut up. Offensively, defensively, you got to figure it out. And Pacheco and Kareem Hunt better be a part of it. Even if they're catching out of the backfield, you need all hands on deck for the rest of the season.
Okay, let's finish this up because this curveball just came out of left field, and this doesn't have anything to do with sports, but okay. Okay, so I'm going with Denver on that one because I just got a sick feeling. All right, Detroit at Philadelphia.
Mm. 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 I am going to say Jesus. I'm gonna say the Lions.
You and me both. And here's the reason why. Here's my reason why. Philadelphia is having problems with Green Bay right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting over here looking at it.
Right. And they're about to reach halftime, but nobody's scoring.
Yeah. And because obviously they got the injuries to the offensive line and starting new people on the offensive line, and God, the mistakes on all levels, college or it is amazing to watch people like stick themselves like in the foot with the mistakes. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions. Plus, if Dan Campbell, whether it be Dan Campbell or Morton, because Morton did show after that week 1 that he could figure things out, and hopefully that's what Dan Campbell, who again, I respect him for not just completely throwing that dude up under the bus. The way he worded it, he did everything he could to where, but the look of it threw him up under the bus. The fact that you did it, period, threw him up under the bus. And so, but he verbally made sure that he didn't tear the guy down because I can respect the fact that I could see that part of him being a culture builder because he was smart enough to know, like, I gotta choose my words wisely because
Yeah.
don't want I don't want anything I say to. I know that the people are gonna do whatever they want with it, but I'm gonna make it so hard for them that that at least the people in house, me and the people in house will be okay. I could respect that. So, uh, but yeah, just from what I saw, if if all hands on deck and they got weapons everywhere, they are the not as successful version to me, weapon wise, of Kansas City.
Yeah.
They got all them weapons and they should be more successful, but all something always happens, whether mostly injuries, but that keeps them from jumping over that last hurdle. And I would like to see it, just like I would like to see the Bengals win a Super Bowl, because I told you part of when I became a fan of sports, I was living in Detroit, so I got to see Barry live and in person at some games because
Don't rub it in.
I just trust me, I didn't like. It was a lucky situation. My life wasn't in a good spot. I was basically in group homes. And they made it where kids in that situation could go to games like that. So trust me, it's not a complete rub in because it's not exactly a happy point of my life. So uh you know, we got to go on all kinds of field trips. The one shelter I was in, I got to meet Harrison Ford because he was doing a movie up in Detroit. So great. I got to meet Harrison Ford. Where was I again? Oh yeah, something I'd rather not remember. But um, so yeah, uh, I would like to see Detroit win, and you know,
Yeah.
hopefully it happens before I die. The Bengals. I would like to see my Patriots win another one. It would be nice to see the Bucks. I would like to see Baker pull a Stafford and get him one. I mean, he's definitely shown that while he said he hasn't changed, I don't agree. Because when he was younger, he his demeanor did kind of come off with a level of attitude that you kind of just felt. And obviously he was in situations where obviously attitude just seemed to be what he was giving. And yeah, he might still be doing it the same, but you can tweak it to where people actually understand, oh, that's not what that was. And like a couple weeks ago, he said, well, people say that I matured. I don't think I ever changed. It was
True.
well, you may not have thought you changed, but I know from some interviews from then to now, I feel what people are saying. So, um, so we can just agree to disagree. Anyway, what's the next game?
Last game, Dallas at Vegas.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this.
You better
Going,
not.
going with them Cowboys.
I'm about to say, as much as I can't go with Vegas right now. So
Mm-mm.
we ended up with two head-to-heads, three head-to-heads. I got the Bengals, you got Pittsburgh, I got
Mm.
Seattle, you got the Rams, and you got Kansas City, I got Denver.
Mm. Yeah.
So this could be a turning point.
And we're gonna see how truly good Andy Reid is, because I don't know if he's losing his touch, or I don't know what. I know it's still a line issue. The line is just is tearing everybody up. It's tearing Buffalo up.
Yeah.
That and play calling. It just, the running backs are your friends. They're not just there
Boy,
for
God,
decorations.
man.
I mean, you don't know how happy I was that they were able to get that game to overtime, and I said, "Good. Now, can we do less Daniel Jones, seeing that the line ain't working? Can you give me
I
some?"
mean, they got it to overtime because they couldn't tackle a line. They couldn't tackle a running back.
Every time I said, "Go to Taylor, run Taylor, run Taylor," they ran Taylor. They were able, and they believed in their kicker even after he had missed, because basically they should already been ahead, because he missed 2 field goals and an extra point. That's 7 extra points. And plus, if they had kicked a field goal when they went for it on fourth and they didn't get it, that's 10 points.
Well, I mean, everybody wants to be a gambling man. You know how that goes.
God, I was so mad, man. It's like, and my competitive side is coming out, which, as I told you, my competitive side is rather mean and mean spirited, and not very caring about the details. I just want to win. It's like, I don't care about your excuses. Why didn't I win?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I thought we should have. You thought wrong because you lost. Now
It,
what?
it's crazy. That competitive spirit, and that's part of the reason why I kind of looked funny a minute ago, because just got a blurb across the phone. And this ties into your conversation that you was having in about our good old buddy. Um, our good old buddy just pardoned Democratic Cincinnati Congressman PG Sittenfeld.
He pardoned a bunch of them. He pardoned Giuliani. He pardoned a bunch of them. I've been seeing it all day. I haven't
But
clicked on
you
it, but I've been seeing it all day.
but you pardon somebody from the other party.
In my personal opinion, he's a businessman. This is a business move.
Exactly.
They
And
need to
that's
get
exactly why
they
I'm sitting up here
they
looking like,
they need to they need to get the shut down, and get back running. And I feel like this is a quote unquote, look, I'm fair. I I I I I can be diplomatic. See, I
I'm
pardoned
playing
all
both
these.
sides of the fence. I want the good guys and those vile Democrats. PG Sinfeld's not a vile Democrat. He's a good guy. Good guy. Love him. Aces. Aces. Just bring him into it. Somebody knocking at the door. All right, I gotta get out of here.
All right. Once again, crazy week, 3.5 hours again.
Pretty much.
See everybody next week. Dante Suave, Mystah Jay, United World of
Out.
Sports. We're out.
Later.